There are two strips in Las Vegas, one with glitter, one with gas. Tony Schumacher has already scored big, clinching the Top Fuel title on Friday, and then the Budweiser shootout just yesterday. Greg Anderson also clinched his third straight Pro Stock crown by claiming the pole in qualifying. In Funny Car, however, the title is still up for grabs. With only 8 rounds left, both Caps and Selzy out-qualified John Force. What happens today is anyone's guess, and in Pro Stock Motorcycle, it's all about the Harleys. GC Tomlin continues chasing his teammate, Andrew Hines. This exclusive broadcast is available in high definition on ESPN2 HD. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, presents exclusive coverage of the $50 million NHRA Powerade Drag Racing Series. Today, from the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, it's the 5th running of the AC Delco NHRA Nationals. And as you look down from high above at the Sanyo Lightship here in Las Vegas, we welcome you to a landmark day in NHRA history. This is the 600th national event, and we've already made some more history. We've handed out 2 championships. As the Air Force flies over, we're going to fly into Top Fuel.
We got the team to be the world champs. Second one in a row.
It's Tony Schumacher. What a drag race. Look at the speed.
Unbelievable. When you win a championship, the ones when you beat Coletta and Bernstein and Dixons and those guys, man, that's the one you want to shine up the most and look at.
The Sarge has got the trophy. It's his 3rd championship. He's also got the check, 100,000 richer from winning the Budweiser shootout. So is Tony Schumacher done for the season? Not quite. Check this out. He can get a little bit more in terms of money, $100,000 more by winning this race today, grabbing the NHRA double-up. That would push his $500,000 weekend into a $600,000 payday. Also keep in mind, Tony can match a couple of long-standing Top Fuel records. He's been to 5 consecutive final rounds. The Top Fuel record is 6. He's also won 3 races in a row. The Top Fuel record, 4 wins in a row. So indeed, the Army of One, not nearly done just yet.
But the win light goes to Greg. And for Greg, he picks up his 5th win of the year and 36th of his career.
3 in a row, that's a hat trick in hockey terms, and that's pretty cool. You know what? I just can't imagine it could get any better.
Never in doubt. And he now moves into 3rd place in the Pro Stock win list with his 34th career win. Big day for Greg Anderson.
This is why he's your Powerade champion. I mean, he rises to the occasion when he needs to.
Yep, he hoists the trophy another time.
This guy and this team have been awesome all weekend. Well, the road to the championship this year for Greg Anderson had a whole lot more potholes than it did a year ago when he just steamrolled the competition, winning a record 15 times. Remember back early in the year, a couple of events in after Phoenix, he was wallowing in 10th place in the championship points chase. He says the turnaround came in the 7th race of the year at Atlanta when he got his first victory. Well, now he's back in full steamroller mode, if you will. He's crushed the opponents 5 of the last 7 races. He's clinched the championship, and consequently, all the pressure is off. We're talking about a man who's won 35 times the last 3 years. And now Greg Anderson simply says it's time to have some serious fun in Las Vegas.
And this was just moments ago. United States Air Force, Nellis Air Force Base nearby as they fly over Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And we're down trackside now as our first pair, Corey McClenathan and David Grubnick, light them up. We're so glad that you're able to spend your evening with us. Glad that you are with us as the championship chase in 2 of our categories still to be decided. Of course, it's a battle between the Harleys in the Pro Stock motorcycle category, but let's talk about Funny Car.
funny car. I mean, what a tremendous amount of pressure for those three drivers. Ron Capps, Gary Scelzi, John Force. We saw it in qualifying, just a great qualifying session where John Force and Ron Capps had to jump up and get in the top half of the field. Then Gary Scelzi comes back and knocks him off and then gets the pole position. I think we're going to see more of that today in the elimination. This is going to be very fun to watch.
2 champions crowned, 2 still to be decided. Let's turn our attention to Top Fuel, and here's our ladder presented by Lucas Oil. And it is Morgan Lucas with his second career pole. The arrow indicates who has the lane choice. Goodwin coming up with Dixon and Scott Coletta. More on that one a little bit later. Also on the other side, there is Schumacher with Milliken and Bernstein and Doug Coletta. Another great first round matchup. So we go trackside and get ready for this one as you're on board with Corey McLennan. In fact, we have an onboard camera with both racers. This is a rematch of second round here at the spring race at Las Vegas. It was won by David Grubnick.
This is where it's critical for Corey McLennan. He replaced crew chief Todd Smith with Wes Cerny because they could not get the car to be consistent in eliminations. Todd Smith did a good job in qualifying, but on race day, they struggled. So this is going to be a test for this team to see how well they do.
Tire smoke. Who recovers? It's going to be Grubnick. So David Grubnick wins the battle again over Corey McLennan. The Strivectin SD crew out looking at the track because remember they have 2 more team cars coming to the line, and Corey McLennan finally makes it down the quarter mile. But it is David Grubnick picking up the round win.
This is a situation where Corey McLennan felt good coming into today's eliminations, but you saw both cars spin the tires as soon as they hit the throttle. Corey obviously had some problems because I guarantee he would have tried to get back on that throttle, but obviously something broke in that car. That allowed David Grubnick to be able to try to reel that 8,000-pound monster underneath him, under control with a couple cylinders out, but hooked up, getting it to the other end and into the next round.
Go on board. And that's what happened to Corey. His 11th first-round loss this year. Now Grubnick. And there you see Corey off in the distance. Already back in the pits, you see pole sitter Morgan Lucas. They're changing something on the car. They noticed something in that first run as we get ready for Brandon Bernstein and Doug Coletta. But first, let's check in with Dave Reef.
That's right, Marty. The Racing Radio is working overtime here. A bunch of crews springing into action immediately after watching that tire smoker right before there. Obviously, Jim Dupuy getting on board with his team. In fact, here comes Jim running back. They're even going to make an ignition timing change. Got to get inside of that clutch area right there. Take a lot of that primary weight off. Maybe the track isn't as good as they think it is. Regardless, they think they're going up there with too much power. Morgan Lucas, just one of a few teams diving into the clutch can right now.
At the other end of the racetrack, this was Corey Mack when he climbed out of the race car. Taking a look at what was happening. Well, you can see it's another 2-vaner.
The throttle linkage fell off there. That's what he was reaching for. That's why he could not get back on it. He didn't have a chance, and that's why he's so mad.
Wes Cerny came on this race as crew chief. He'll be there for the next and last race of the season. Now, the battle for second is awfully tight, of course, between Larry Dixon and Doug Coletta. But look at 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's changed since qualifying. Remember, Doug Herbert, Morgan Lucas, everybody in a big, big battle right now for those spots. And remember, that's money at the end of the season. Time now for Brandon Bernstein in the left lane. Doug Coletta over in the right. Rematch of round 1 at Reading, won by Doug. Bernstein says not this time, and look at the elapsed time, 4:48. That's low elapsed time of the race, 327 miles an hour. And Tim Richards says, yeah, I like that performance.
Wow, that was impressive. But let me tell you how he did it. I mean, he was very slow in 60 feet, 876. He probably slowed it down about 300ths of a second from what he normally does. But boy, then he started throwing it to it in the middle of the course, was running almost 280 miles per hour at the 8th mile. I think that's the fastest speed of the weekend at the 8th mile. So obviously the track is very good down track as long as you get off the starting line. Great job by the team.
Well, let's find out about track conditions. Let's talk to David Grubnick, Gary.
We want to talk about track conditions. Obviously very tricky for you, but you advance. But does that 48 that Brandon just threw down surprise you?
Well, Yes. You know, when we were up there for the intros, I was looking at the racetrack and it looked pretty bald. And then I spoke to my crew chief, John, and he said they went and scraped it, fixed it up and so forth. So we're feeling confident about it. But, you know, both Corey and I did the same thing. And, you know, I managed to get mine hooked up and it went all the way down there. So, you know, we're looking forward to today. We obviously want to win this. You know, for Strive Vecton, we're out here with them this weekend. A lot of VIPs. So, you know, hopefully we'll keep going rounds. I'm sure Connie will figure that out. If someone else ran a 48 out there, he's going to try and run a 45.
All right, let's hear from Tony Schumacher. He is the champ, looking for that bonus bucks here this week, Dave.
And he's getting dressed right now, 4 pair away. Tony Schumacher, congratulations on the championship, the Budweiser Shootout. Have you had a chance? Have you even let yourself enjoy that? Or are you planning on all the things that are on the table today?
Well, we got a big day today, man. $50,000 extra bonus if we can get it done. And we got a big round here. Clay Milliken's no easy feat, man. I'll tell you what, we just got to stay focused.
All right, thanks, Dave. As we get ready for our next pair, Jack Beckman and Doug Herbert, let's talk about weather conditions.
Beautiful day here, 76 degrees, low humidity. We are in the desert, 56 grains, 38% relative humidity. Track temperature right now, 94 degrees. Density altitude, when you correct the actual altitude, engines feel like they're running about 3,900 feet above sea level.
As we get ready for this matchup, 2 teams going in opposite directions. Jack Beckman has not won a round since the semifinal appearance at Englishtown. Doug Herbert's been to 2 straight finals and has scored more points since St. Louis when Wayne Dupuis came on, except for Tony Schumacher. Here we go. Another pedal fest. And it will be Doug Herbert taking the win. So far, we have seen a lot of tire smoke. A 6:10 elapsed time is not going to get you lane choice probably, but it gets a smile from Wayne Dupuis because his driver saved his bacon.
Yeah, Doug Herbert did a good job getting that car recovered. Same thing as we saw the first pair. Both cars spun the tires right at the hit of the throttle. Doug pedals it once, twice, it starts spinning, then he's kind of feathered into the throttle right at that point. And once he felt the thing hooked up, went all the way down on the gas. That was enough to keep it hooked up and get into the finish line ahead of Jack Beckman. You saw him, he pedaled that thing probably about 3 times, and he finally got it under control. And once he got it hooked up, then it was just saying goodbye to Jack.
The experience of Doug Herbert, obviously, rookie season in Top Fuel for Jack Beckman. Might have been a telltale factor in that pedal job. We've got to take a commercial break. More Top Fuel coming up. In fact, it'll be Melanie Troxel, Doug Foley, and also Scott Coletta versus that man, Larry Dixon.
Today's Speed World presentation of the AC Delco NHRA Las Vegas National. Brought to you by Powerade. Sport is what you make it. AC Delco. Real car guys know. AC Delco. And Wendy's Bacon Mushroom Melt. Do what tastes right.
And can you guess why they call it Red Rock? Just outside of Las Vegas. We're at the Strip, and we're having great time here in first round action. We're getting ready for Doug Foley in his second ever national event in Top Fuel. He's going up against Melanie Troxel, who's coming off her best ever event with Don Schumacher Racing just 2 weeks ago.
Well, I'm stating the obvious here. It's the starting line that seems to be the problem. If they can get it off the starting line, the track looks pretty good based on what Brandon Bernstein did.
Doug Foley in an upset takes out Melanie Troxel. She smokes the tires. Doug goes 471, and you saw him drop a cylinder. It may have actually helped him.
Well, I think at that way he got it off the starting line before the cylinder went out. I think the track's pretty good down track. We haven't seen a whole lot of pairs go down there. But the problem is at the beginning of the run, these teams try to shoot for about 2,000 wheel RPM in about a half second into the run, give or take a couple hundred RPM. So it's a situation, if the track's bad, they take away horsepower, they take away the clutch to try to get that wheel speed right around that range that they're looking for based on what the track is. But obviously that just doesn't look like the bite's right there at the starting lane. They're getting it spinning too fast when the driver hits the throttle.
And if you were with us yesterday, we told you that Melanie was 25-1 in the odds. We thought that was a good bet if you wanted to try and really score some money. And it's a good thing you and I didn't put any money down, because we would have lost it. Let's talk about a first round winner. He's Doug Foley. Go to Gary.
It took me 14 years to meet you.
14 years. Well, it's a pleasure, Doug Foley. How are you? congratulations, and how does it feel to get your first pro win here and knocking out Melanie Troxel?
That's great. I've been running NHRA 14 years, and to get our first Top Fuel win only in our second event for Skull Gear, Torco, all those guys. My wife and Home Shield have been supporting me for years. Douglas Joseph, we've been doing a great job. Doug Cook has been tuning this car. really not a lot of people knew him, knew who he was, but he's showing now that he's up there with the best crew chiefs in the country.
All right, you want an underdog rooting interest in Las Vegas? I think we found one.
He's got lane choice over Doug Herbert in the next round. And we see the frustration on Melanie Troxel. She knew coming into this event that they had a pretty doggone good race car, and it just got away from him. Coming back to the starting line now. Pole sitter Morgan Lucas up against that man right there. Number 16 qualifier, Joe Hartley. Day brief.
We watched the scramble right there back in the staging wings not too long ago. Just did talk to Jim Dupuis exactly about what they did. Mike, you're hitting it just exactly on the head. They're taking some horsepower away from this car by taking some timing out of it, softening up the clutch. He says at the hit of the throttle, that's going to be the critical time. I asked him, though, are you concerned? Because we've seen two tire smokers. Sandwiched in the middle was Brandon Bernstein going 448. He looked at me and said, I think we're fine, because Timmy usually sends his car, the General Tim Richards, for Brandon Bernstein, up there very soft at the hit. So they feel like they're still in pretty good shape.
And that's the key, Marty. You soften it up, but the problem is if you get it too soft and you don't get the wheel speed fast enough, then it goes into tire shake. So they're basically reading the racetrack right now, trying to hit that range.
Another pedal job. Oh, and Morgan Lucas, who went to the final here last year only to lose to Doug Coletta, takes a first step towards a return engagement. 5.40 the elapsed time, but he did his job. He got the car to the finish line first.
Well, he red lighted in the first round of the Budweiser shootout yesterday, but let me tell you, he did his job today. Had a good reaction time off the starting line. Got off the starting line, but then it went out in that tire shake area where it started to spin the tires, but he did a good job getting out of the throttle a couple times. Now, look, he got the launch right here, but what happens, he goes in tire shake. It was too soft. He felt it, got it, caught it really quick, but then it smoked the tires again. Now he's just feathering that throttle. Did an excellent job right there to get that thing hooked up and get the win at the other end.
Avery.
Here's the crew chief of our #1 qualifier. Jimmy Dupuis, did you soften it up too much, or was it not soft enough?
It looked like it was soft enough at the hit, but out in the middle, I was too aggressive and started spinning the tires, but we'll take care of it.
Got a second round coming up.
Back at the starting line. Time for Clay Milligan and that man right there, Tony Schumacher, a three-time champion. Let's go back to Friday. This was the one session he had to make. All he had to do was get down the quarter mile. What did he do? Go to #1 at that point. And he ended up #2 qualifier. There was the check for $400,000 on Friday. And then, of course, yesterday he wins the Budweiser shootout, picks up another $100 grand, and he can double up again today. Here are 3 or more Top Fuel championships. Joe Amato, of course, the all-time leader. Don Garland, Shirley Muldowney, Gary Scelti, and now Tony Schumacher. That's some pretty heady stuff.
And how about Alan Johnson taking that right-hand lane? First driver or crew chief to choose that lane that had lane choice. And that's after he saw Brandon Bernstein run a 448 a lap time. Alan Johnson, he can read a racetrack as good as anybody out there. Obviously, he sees something that he likes better in that right-hand lane. It's probably the starting lane. Maybe he feels that that starting line just a little bit better rubber initially, because he's very aggressive with his tune-up early in the run. So he's going to look for everything he can get out of that lane.
Remember, the double-up bonus with all the contingencies, prize money, and everything would be another $100,000. No one in NHRA history has ever won $600,000 in a race weekend. They could do it if he wins today. Mike, you're right. Alan Johnson saw something. 4:50 the elapsed time. That is second quickest of this session, this round. 330 miles an hour. And poor Clay Milligan was never a factor.
Well, this is why they're your Powerade champion. Alan Johnson, just a genius. Now, he's very aggressive in 60 feet, much quicker than Brandon Bernstein was in the other lane, but he did not run through the middle as hard as Brandon. One of the reasons, the right-hand lane where the tunnel is, it's got a little bit of a bigger dip, so you can't get quite as aggressive with your tune-up through the middle of the course. Thus, I think that's why he ran less 8th mile speed, but still, he knew the number it was going to run. Alan Johnson is a genius at that, and he runs a great run at a 450 laps time and gets the win.
But guess what? He's got to go up against Brandon Bernstein next round, and Bernstein has lane choice. While he gets ready, we'll talk to him. Don't miss this one. Larry Dixon and Scott Coletta when we come back to Las Vegas. AC Delco Las Vegas Nationals, and you're looking down from the Sanyo Lightship. Sanyo and the crew of the Lightship are proud to be part of today's broadcast, reminding you that for total technology, people look up to Sanyo. Our pilots Alan Judd and cameraman Jeff Vaughn. And guys, you do such a great job for us, and guess what? They're going to be with us 2 weeks at Pomona as well. And as we come back down to trackside, it's time for John Smith in the left lane and Hot Rod Fuller in his hometown of Las Vegas over in the right lane. Think about this. He has moved into 10th place in the championship chase. These are the points after qualifying. And Scott Wise DNQ'd for the second time this year. And this is only Rod's 14th national event out of 22.
Well, Scott Wise said it best. In order for him to stay in the top 10, he was going to have to stay ahead of Rod Fuller. The problem was that's a top 5 race car. The only reason they're not in the top 5 is because they didn't run all the events.
Right now, you see Rick Stewart telling Rod to move it on in. John's already pre-staged. Fuller's in trouble, and he's going down. John Smith, 4.65 the elapsed time. Rod Fuller, you saw him drift towards the center line. And oh, he's got problems late shoot on the brakes. Lee Beer wondering what went wrong, and Fuller's still trying to make it slow enough so he can get the turn, and he'll do it. Nice job.
Well, Rod Fuller had to backpedal the car. I couldn't tell if it went into tire shake or what. I'm sure it must have done at least that because he obviously felt something. Left side of your screen right there, you see him backpedal the car. I didn't see what the tires were doing at that point. So sometimes the driver feels something and you go back and you look at the computer and say, you know, I may not have needed to do that. So that's something that basically Lee Beer's going to go back and look at. And after he did pedal, the car moved over towards the center and got a little bit loose in the middle of the track.
It's only the 5th time this year that John Smith has gone past round number 1. We'll come back and hear from him in a second, but there is Dick LaHaye. You heard yesterday, if you were with us during qualifying, he will be retiring at the end of this season in 2 weeks at Pomona. What a storied career. 5 championships, 1 as a driver, 4 as a tuner, 2 with Scott Coletta, 2 with the man that's in the cockpit right now in the right lane, Larry Dixon. Let's go to the far end while they fire him up.
John, you were just saying, if you can go a couple more rounds, what would the outcome be?
We could try to get in the top 10 this year. I think it's between him and I now. I'm a couple rounds behind him, so we did a couple more rounds today. We can hopefully be in the top 10, and with Craftsman, Torco, and everybody that's behind us, it could be a great day. We're just going to try to keep going rounds. It's real tricky out there now.
Absolutely.
We were really struggling with it, and we just left it alone and went down the track. So, hi, Rhonda, Megan, and Dylan.
Thank you, John.
He is 62 points out of 10th place right now. That was a little over 3 rounds of racing. Well, in 2 weeks, the Powerade Series concludes the 05 season in Pomona with the AAA of Southern California Finals. We'll have qualifying Saturday, November 5th at 10:30 Eastern Time. Then NHRA Today, presented by Lucas Oil, Sunday morning, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and final eliminations on ESPN2 and ESPN2 HD starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific Time. And while all this action is going on trackside back in the pit, this is Doug Foley's crew. They've been trying to get the hang of the 75-minute turnaround. This is the first time they've ever had to do it.
Yeah, and it's tough trying to get everything synchronized and do it in 75 minutes. It definitely helps if you have a little bit of practice, but I think they'll do it. You know, he's assembled a good team there. Doug Cook as his crew chief does an excellent job. I've worked with him in the past. He's been with Kenny Bernstein and Dale Armstrong, so he knows the game.
Forward right there, left on this side.
As we come back trackside, we get ready for Scott Coletta. Of course, if you were with us yesterday, we told you about the news that recently he lost his mother, Marianne McGee. It's been a hard struggle for him. Over in the other lane, a little bit better news for Larry Dixon. It's his birthday today. I think if I do my math right, it'll be about 39.
Just a pop.
Saw the tire smoke for Larry Dixon, and then Scott goes out and wins 4.59 seconds the elapsed time at 325 miles an hour, and that will be good enough to give him lane choice over John Smith.
A little bit of surprise to see Larry Dixon smoke the tires, even though he did it yesterday in the first round of the Bud Shootout. Just had the front end up, went into some tire shake and spun the tires really early. He tried to get to recover, but unfortunately for him, Scott Coletta was hooked up in the other lane and just pulling away, and all he could do was watch.
And for Scott Coletta, his 500th round of Top Fuel Racing is a successful one in his 250th NHRA start. All right, let's take a look at our Top Fuel ladder presented by Lucas Oil. Morgan Lucas will have lane choice over David Grubnick, Scott over John. We've mentioned that one. And then over on the other side, it will be Brandon Bernstein, Tony Schumacher. That's going to be a dandy. And Doug Foley over Doug Herbert. Hey, we've got to take a commercial break. When we come back, it's time for the Funny Car Championship. Gary Dencham's the number 16 qualifier. Guess who he's got? First round. It's Gary Scelzi. And remember, Scelzi's coming off that red light.
You got a choice to make. So what's it gonna be? So what's it gonna be? You got a choice to make. If you really want it, you can go hard or go home. You can work real hard. You got a choice to make. Don't stop, don't quit. You can go hard or go home. Give it all you got. You got a choice to make. Do you really want it? You can go hard or go home.
Back at Las Vegas, you better go hard or you are definitely going home. We're getting ready for first round action in our Funny Car with Tony Bartone and Tony Pedregon side by side. Take a look at your ladder. Arrow indicates who has lane choice. Scelzi and Force cannot meet until the semifinals, but Force has got help with Eric Medlin. Over on the other side, you've got Ron Capps with a possible second round showdown with Robert Height from Team Force. Gonna be a great day in the Funny Car Championship.
Great matchup here. Tony Pedregon came in here at 12-1 odds. I like them odds because he's been running very good the last few races. He's one of those spoilers that could shake up the championship.
Well, you saw it. Tony Pedregon went up in tire smoke, and then Tony Bartone lost fire right before the finish line. He runs a 4.97. So Tony, who went to his only career pro final here back in the spring where he lost to Whit Bazemore, takes a step towards redemption.
A little bit of a surprise here. Tony Pedregon had a very good car in qualifying, going down the racetrack on all 4 of his runs, making very nice runs. Tony Bartone, on the other hand, only got down on his last qualifying run. As you watch Tony Pedregon smoke the tires after he went into some tire shake. But Tony Bartone gets the win because he ran that 4.79 last night, got the thing hooked up today, even though it broke before the finish line. He's in the second round.
And that gives you one more look at it. You heard the engine sort of nose over. Let's go to the far end.
500 rounds of Top Fuel Racing you have just achieved, and you do it on a winning note. But I'm curious about yesterday. When you lose by an eyelash, 13 ten-thousandths of a second for 100 grand, how hard was it to put that out of your mind before today's first round of eliminations?
Oh, you know, that part was easy. Just it took about a half an hour to kind of get over it last night. But, you know, we're just having so much fun yesterday because we've had such a up and down year. Just to go rounds and, you know, be competitive, and that's all we're looking for. You know, we only got this race and next race left, and just trying to have fun.
Good luck in round 501.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Gary. They're still getting ready. There's the guys in Top Fuel still getting back to the pits. They got 75 minutes to get it turned around. Get ready for second round. We'll talk to Ace McCullough. There he is. His driver's in the hunt.
Back at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, getting set for Tommy Johnson Jr., Phil Burkhardt, just completing their burnouts. We saw Eddie Ace McCullough pacing, nervous, trying to figure out where you're going to go on this racetrack. What is this racetrack like right now, and where are you going to end up?
Well, this is not the racetrack we've been running on all weekend. I'm really not going to make any comment about what happened, but it's a crapshoot out there right now. You can see by the earlier rounds, and right now just trying to make lane choice is a hard decision.
Do you know which way you're leaning?
Right now I'm leaning towards the left, but I got to watch these guys and see.
All right, thanks, Dave. As we get ready down trackside, Tommy Johnson Jr. up against Phil Burkhardt. Both of these guys have won races here at Las Vegas. Phil in 04, TJ in 01.
Two of the spoilers we were talking about right here. Phil Burkhardt, you can never count him out. He can take the big dogs out at any time. But I'll tell you, Tommy Johnson Jr., Mike Green, Johnny West have really been doing a good job on that car, making good runs. But like we heard Ace said, the track's a little tricky.
Boy, TJ had to pedal it early. He caught it before it went up in smoke. He makes it to the finish line first in 4.95 seconds and will advance to second round action.
TJ did a good job. You know, as a driver, when you see all those cars out there spinning the tires, even though you know your crew chief is trying to make adjustments for that, you're just a little bit more ready for it. So when it does happen, you're not going to give it a second chance. In a situation where the track's good, guys are going down the track, you may feel it rattle the tires, and you may just try to drive through it and see if it'll hook back up. But a situation like this, as soon as you feel anything, you're going to backpedal, and TJ caught it quick and did a good job to get him into the next round.
Go, TJ!
There's Tommy at the far end of the racetrack, and you know, you heard Ace McCullough mention the track, and we're going to try and dig up what he was thinking or talking about. As soon as we get some information, we'll pass it along to you. We get ready now for Cruz Pedregon and Whit Bazemore as the body comes down on the Matco Tools Dodge Stratus. Won this race back in the spring event here this year. He also led the points at that time. It sort of fell out from underneath him after that. Cruz Pedregon, of course, well, it's been feast or famine the last few races, but he had a real scary moment at this place just a couple of years ago.
Top fuel dragsters, when they see it on fire, they just keep legging it. But here's why you don't do it in a funny car. It's right in your face, man, and you're out of that throttle. But he takes a hard hit when that thing moves over and hits the wall. This was a big explosion for Cruz.
He was bumped and he was bruised, but he was okay, but the car was not. The sheer power of these motors is just amazing. Body comes up for Cruz. We talked about it being feast or famine. In the last 5 races, he's had 3 DNQs, 1 pole, and here he is in the number 3 spot here.
They're making a lot of horsepower. They've changed the combination since crew chief Wes Cerny left. Try to make this thing run better, higher up in Cruz's word. And I think, you know, they definitely are making the horsepower, but now they got to work on getting the car down the racetrack consistently, and that's what they're doing right now.
You know, that spring race that Whit won? Well, these two met here in the semifinals, and it was Whit winning that matchup. I'm sure Cruz remembers, like a little payback right now. We go. And Cruz is gonna get it. 6.63 seconds at 2:53, and I lost count of how many times each one of them pedaled.
That was wild, wasn't it? Cruz Pedregon, he did a bad job of red lighting there. He had a 009 rack time, just took a shot at the tree. But luckily for him, he didn't red light and give it away. He was still 0.9 of a second from being perfect, or a 1/10 of a second from red light. But then both cars went into tire smoke, trying to get them to recover. Watch on the right side of your screen. Watch Cruz 1 time, 2 times, trying to get back in that thing. 3, 4, 5. Picks the front end up at half track on that one back pedal. And he's got cylinders out and just goes to the other end just ahead of Whit Bazemore.
And as we get ready for the next pair, let's talk about what you can see on ESPN, a preeminent sports fishing event. The 19th annual Monster Shark Tournament from Oak Bluffs, Massachusetts, Wednesday night, starts at 8 Eastern. Again, it's on ESPN. And as we come back trackside, you heard Ace McCullough trying to figure out this racetrack. Ron Capps will be in the left lane up against Tim Wilkerson. This is a must-win situation for Capps. And Wilkerson, he was the upset man in Dallas 2 weeks ago. It was Wilkerson who took out Medlin 2 weeks ago at Dallas in the opening round, basically ending his championship hopes. Dave Reef.
And the Ace McCullough not the only one pacing, trying to figure out this racetrack. So too are some other championship caliber crew chiefs, including Bernie Federley, who's on the radio right now. Bernie, Ace referred to this being a little bit of a tricky racetrack and an incident that's making it that way. What do you know about that, and how tricky is it?
Well, apparently there was a little preparation issue this morning, and they had to make some adjustments in the starting line traction, and I'm guessing we're seeing a little bit of that, but we kind of think that it's not real far off, you know, so we're not gonna back up too much, so hopefully we get away with it.
Thanks, Scott. So, yeah, we've seen both ends of the spectrum. In Top Fuel, we saw a 448, a 450, and we've also seen tons of tire smoke.
Yeah, and those runs were in opposite lanes, so we know both lanes are pretty equal, and that's what's making it so hard for guys like Ed McCullough to figure out lane choice, because some cars are going down one lane, some cars are going down the other lane, and they're smoking them in both lanes.
Take a look at the championship chase. Not only is there the battle for the title, but look on down through 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. I mean, there are still a lot of positions up for grabs, which means extra dollars at the awards ceremony in a little over 2 weeks. Does his job. Ace and the two crew does their job in a 479 at 328, and he figured it out A-OK for round number 1.
Ed the Ace McCullough definitely figured that one out. You got to give that one to him. Ron Capps did his job, obviously. Got a good jump off the starting line. He was staged a little bit deep, but the car looked like it was still a little soft on the initial hit, which is what you wanted to be. But, boy, that thing started charging in the middle of the track, just like we saw Brandon Bernstein when he ran that 448. Ron Capps was running 262 miles per hour at the 8th. A very fast speed for a funny car. Soften it up at the hit. That's exactly what it seems like these cars need to do at this particular point in the race, and does a nice job to get him in the next round.
So now the pressure is put on Gary Scelzi and John Force. They have to win to keep pace. Capps is already into second round. And there is Gary Scelzi. He is scheduled to be next up on the starting line, the focus. And there is Mike Neff. And let's go to the far end quickly. Gary.
How much of a surprise was that 79 for you? Because you had wide eyes when you came out of there.
Oh, my gosh. Well, you know, I got the tunnel bumps out there, and it's, you know, and then the guys in front of us both smoked the tires with Bazemore and Cruz, and it's just, you're puckered up, man. You're staging the car, and you almost got all these other thoughts going through your head about whether you got to be ready to pedal it, and you're like, get that out of my head. I got to just stage the car, and I got to leave. Sometimes in the back of your head, if you know you think you got to pedal it, you're staging, you're almost wanting to just roll into it or something. You just got to get that out because you got to stomp on it. And then hit the bump.
How are your nerves today?
Oh, my God. Well, I was the same as last week, but you know what? I'm enjoying it now. I love it. I love throwing up. I love being on the toilet. And hope we can do it 4 more times today.
I think that's under the category of TMI, too much information.
Capital letters.
Yeah, that wasn't 3 Mile Island.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But we asked for it.
We've got to take a commercial break, and there's Tommy Johnson. He wants to spoil somebody's day, and he may get a chance before this is all over.
Pressure in a championship battle is what is the hardest I've had to deal with. Like, I never realized what it was like, the pressure as a driver.
And for Robert Hight, as we return, he's had only 1 round win on the last 4 races. So it gives you an idea about the pressure. As you can see, Ron Capps already making his way back into the pit area, getting ready for second round action. And now we come back trackside, and his teammate, Schumacher Racing, Gary Scelzi, will be in the left lane. Gary Dencham, the number 16 qualifier, will be over in the right. Dave Reed.
Just talked with Mike Neff, who went out and walked a little bit of the track with Lanny McLeasy, the track specialist for Schumacher Racing. They said the track earlier today, if you took your foot and tried to make it stick to the rubber, it would slide and would kind of glance off. He says the track now, with the number of cars running down it, some rubber getting down on it, is coming back to normal, but still, he's had to make a majority of changes as this car has made its way up through the staging lanes into the water box. Still a little leery right now is Mike Neff.
Well, for Gary, his 5th pole this year in funny car, but he has not made it past semifinals in his 4 prior starts from pole. And Gary Dencham has won once from the number 16 spot. No problem this time for Scelzi. He was a 143 light. Remember, 2 weeks ago, he went red in the first round. Probably did what you expected, didn't you, Mike?
Yeah, it's a situation. Every time I red lighted the previous race, I was always a little bit more conservative. It definitely changes your approach when you go up to the starting line. Gary wanted to make sure he didn't make any mistakes. He was about 0.04 of a second behind, though, Gary Dincham. And Gary Dincham plays out a very nice run, a 486, kept him right in the game, right up to the finish, and just does a good job of almost getting by Gary.
The Q Photo finish, 55 10,000ths of a second. That's the margin at the stripe. There you see the incrementals all the way down the track where it was Dincham first off the line, but Scelzi picked it up from there. And Don Schumacher and the rest of the team said, yes, sir, keeping pace. And yes, it does keep him in the championship hunt. Cannot afford to lose now. That's Frank Pedregon. He'll be in the right lane. Eric Medlin will be over in the left lane. Burnouts are complete. Let's go to the far end. Gary?
There was the shock, Gary, 2 weeks ago of only the second red light in your career. After that experience, are you more conservative when you come up for your first round of eliminations today?
I don't know. Was I late? You know what? I was really calm today, and I don't know why. I just can't worry about stuff like that. And the reason I'm in this position, the reason Don Schumacher hired me is because this Mopar Oakley Dodge is a bad Jose, and he wanted a bad Jose driver, and he hired me, and I'm going to prove that he did the right thing.
Talk to you, Jose.
Take another look at the run, and the confidence factor builds with every round. Let's talk about what's going to happen in 2 weeks, because we've got championships at stake, 2 of them that will be decided in California at Pomona at the AAA Southern California Finals. Qualifying Saturday, November 5th, 10:30 Eastern on ESPN2 and ESPN2 HD. Then start your Sunday morning off at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time with NHRA Today and final eliminations 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, all from Pomona. The final race of the NHRA Powerade drag racing season. Eric Medlin in the left lane since his win at Memphis has won just 3 rounds of funny car competition. Let's make that 4. A 482 at 324. And John likes it.
I think Eric was really ready, had a great reaction time, had 0.07 of a second advantage over Frank Pedregon right off the starting lines. You see him pull off the side. Might have done a little engine damage there, but still makes a very nice run at 482 at 324 miles per hour. You saw Eric just get a big jump over Frank Pedregon off the get-go. Frank had some troubles just a little bit past half-track. Looked like the motor started just kind of lay over, but Eric Medlin, left side of your screen, look at that thing, stuck right in the middle of the groove. It started to drift the wall a little bit, but man, he legged it right over there. Makes a nice run into the second round.
Take one more look at it.
Watch right here. You're going to see what happens here is the header pipe's actually going to come loose and fall off right at that point, and then it drags through the lights. I thought it had a little bit of fire when we first saw this replay, but actually it was just the header dragging on the ground.
So Eric Medlin moves into the second round against Gary Scelzi, but he will not have lane choice. Take a look. By 6 1,000ths of a second, it will go to Gary. TJ gets the winner between John Force and Del Worsham. Over on the other side, there's Caps waiting for Robert Hight or Mike Ashley, and Tony Bartone has the lane choice over Cruz Pedregon. Right now it is Hight and Ashley on the line, and boy, this is huge for Robert Hight. To help John Force, he's got to get to Ron Capps. Dave?
And Marty, this is exactly the scenario John Force wanted to see play out. Eric Medlin already in the second round, gets to race Gary Scelzi, the guy closest to him in points. If Robert Hight should beat Mike Ashley, he would get to take on Ron Capps, the guy third in the points. Exactly the way John Force wants it to be as he waits patiently.
Is the next pair. Here we go. Hight's in trouble. And Mike Ashley gets his first ever round win in funny car. And he does it in a nice run of 4.84 seconds. And Jimmy Prock scratching his head and heading back. In the last 5 races now, Robert has just 1 round win. And remember when they were on such a hot roll. So now the pressure on John Force. You saw him in the cockpit.
Watch Robert Hight here. We've seen this before. Just went and spun the tires way too much early in the run. Right after you hit the throttle, goes into tire smoke. And when your opponent's in the other lane running 484, there's no way you're going to get that thing to recover. Even if you did, it wasn't going to be able to recover enough to drive around them. I I'll tell you, Mike Ashley, his crew chief Mark Oswald, former Funny Car World Champion, are just doing a great job on this car. They seem to get better and better every race.
So first it was Doug Foley, and now it's Mike Ashley with a first career round win. Let's go talk to him.
Well, Mike Ashley, come on over here and tell us about the emotion of a first professional round win, knowing that there have been a lot of round wins in the sportsman ranks through the years.
Oh, yeah, what can I say? You know, what a team I've got. You look at Skull Gear, Torco Rituals, these guys are just so successful, it's contagious. But then you look at Mark Oswald, you look at the Worsham team. I mean, Jason, all the guys on our team. You know, the only reason why we would lose is because of me. This thing's just awesome, man. Just doing a great job. I love it. How about NHRA Powerade Funny Car Racing? There's nothing more awesome, I tell you. Love it.
Love to see that kind of excitement and emotion, Marty.
And Mike won the Pro Mod Championship yesterday, claiming that title as well. There's John Force, the 13-time champion. When the going gets tough, the tough get going, and nobody is tougher than 13-time Funny Car champion John Force. Force's win at the last race in Dallas launched him from third to first in the Funny Car points, and he carries that momentum here into Las Vegas. But only 3 rounds separate the top 3 drivers. Can Force stay focused and bring home championship number 14? Take a look at points earned during qualifying and see that John has given up quite a bit. 25 fewer than Robert Height, 18 fewer than Gary Scelzi. And guess what? Scelzi's only behind John right now as they stand, 12. That's before John runs, and he could pick up another 20 to put it back to 32. Del Worsham and John have met twice this year. They've each won once. To Del Worsham. What a drag race. He was first off the line, gets to the stripe, 4.848 to a 4.849. And we could see another shift in the championship chase today.
Is this exciting or what? I mean, Funny Car Racing this year has just been unbelievable. Let me tell you something. You saw Del Worsham's crew get very excited on the starting line because they felt that John Force took too long to stage that race car, and I think that just got Worsham worked up because he drilled them on the starting line. 0.56 reaction time to an 0.80 reaction time for John Force. Cars were locked together side by side all the way down the other end, and Del Worsham just noses them out at the finish line.
10th time this year that John Force has lost in the first round. 17 of the 22 races now. Think about this. John has either gone out in first round or he's gone to 7 final rounds. It's either been feast or famine with this team. Today, he is starving. Let's go to Gary.
John Force, are you ready for some last racing season drama for the championship in Pomona?
I'm always ready for drama. This only makes me better. I got a job to do here for Castle Ford. Still got a car in. Worsham did his job. We did ours, and you got beat. But they're still behind us in the points, no matter how they want to look at it, at least for this round. And I guarantee you, by Pomona, well, let's just see what happens at Pomona. I can't do nothing there today, but I got to see Eric here do some damage for all our teams here at Castle Ford, Mac Tool, and AAA.
There goes John. Del is over here. We're going to hear from his dad, Chuck, down there with Dave Reef at the start line.
Hey, Chuck, you guys feel like you very much should have been a part of this championship chase this year. You guys have the car that can certainly do it. To put a stamp, well, really on this season, we'll have to see how it all plays out. Did you think, though, that John maybe held you up a little?
You know, he's always a little slow leaving, even when he does a single, but that looked a little slow. You know, it didn't do him any good.
Just fire you guys up even more?
We're always firing to race him. You know, it's nice to be a spoiler. I think old Schumacher owes us a big old dinner.
He also gave him a big old handshake about 10 seconds after his son crossed the finish line.
All right, as we take a look at the matchups, Gary, Scelzi has lane choice over Eric Medlin. Worsham over TJ. Over on the other side, it's Ron Capps over Mike Ashley, Tony Bartone over Cruz Pedregon. We'll talk to Doug Foley. He's got the headsets on. We'll get the update on what he's planning for second round action. And also, we've got the factory hot rods. When we come back, it'll be Jake Coughlin and Warren Johnson when we return to the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Back here at the AC Delco Las Vegas Nationals, you look down from the Sanyo Lightship. We have already had a stunning first round in both Top Fuel and Funny Car, especially in the floppers. We're getting ready for the factory hot rods. And there is Doug Foley. Has the idea of winning your first NHRA round of Top Fuel competition sunk in?
I don't think that's going to sink into probably the plane ride home, but it's pretty awesome for these guys.
Hey, you know, Doug, I worked with your crew chief, Doug Cook, back when I was with Darrell Gwynn Racing. How's Big D treating you?
He's pretty good. He gets moody once in a while, but as you can see, it's well worth having him on board.
Don't worry, Mike Dunn gets moody up here a few times too. What about this second round matchup? What do you expect?
You know, the car's been running consistent, so I think we'll be okay. It put a hole out, but we're not too sure that didn't help us on that round. So we'd like to see if we could get this thing cleared up and go A to B a little quicker, because we probably need a little extra insurance with the bank. Herbert's got a good team over there, but this Torco Race Fuels Skull Gear car, I think it's got something for him.
All right, we'll let you get back to it. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
All right, we get ready for V Gaines in the left lane. Mark Powick over in the right lane. Here's the top, our Pro Stock ladder presented by Lucas Oil, and you can see who has lane choice. The Arrow by their name, as the lower, better qualified car always gets the first round choice. As we get ready now for V Gaines in his 100th Pro Stock career start. He's over in the left lane. Mark Powick won his last race on tour here in 01 over Tom Hammonds. It's been that long. Light goes to Mark Powick, 6.85 seconds. And boy, look at the reaction times. Did you see those? 007 for V Gaines and 010 for Mark Powick. Those guys were ready.
Man, both drivers were on their game. How would you like to have an 010 reaction time, be second off the starting line? But V Gaines was right there. He's been working on that. Boy, it's showing good right now, because that was a great launch by both drivers. I mean, give them credit. I'll tell you, Mark Powick with that Ron Krischer horsepower just had a little bit more at the top end and was able to get into the next round.
And let's take a look at the Q photo finish when they come to the stripe, and we'll show you just how close it was. Oh, so close. And, you know, we mentioned that 2001 win over Tom Hammonds, his last on tour. Let's take you back to that moment, because it was a big one. Powick in the right lane, Tom over in the left lane, and it was a hole shot win for Mark in that instance, as he took the win at Las Vegas. Crew loved it. And there he was. The Cowboy hoisting the trophy. And here he is today, winning round number 1 at the far end of the track, getting some congratulations from workers at the far end. And we come back for Jake Coughlin and Warren Johnson as they come to the starting line. Total 8 Pro Stock championships between the two of them. Let's get more. Dave Reef.
Bit of a gamble by Warren Johnson, who came to the racetrack this weekend with a new engine, a piece that showed a lot of promise when put on the dyno back home in Georgia. Had planned on qualifying well on Friday, sliding it in on Saturday to see how it did. Well, things didn't go as well as he wanted on Friday. Then again yesterday as well, so that piece did not make it in qualifying, but he said, you know what, you got to find out at some point how good this piece is. So it is under the hood. First run down the racetrack on a brand new motor.
Who's going to go in first? The clock is ticking. Here we go. Advantage Warren. The win light goes to Jake.
683 with a 5, 20140. Good job, baby. Good job.
You heard the numbers. Jake's trying to talk back to him, but the radio is breaking up. 6.83 at 201, and Jake moves into second round.
Well, I really think it might have been the right move putting that engine for Warren Johnson, even though he did not win the race. It does, I think, make more horsepower, because he basically spun the tires at the launch. He was out first on reaction time over Jaggy, but you saw Jaggy jump out right in the beginning because Warren was spinning the tires, but then had a great top-end speed over 202 miles per hour, which is very fast for up here in Las Vegas.
And with the loss, WJ remains winless at Las Vegas. He has never made it to the winner's circle. We get ready now for Ron Krischer and Dave Conley as we get ready for another one of those battles. We're going to get a battle with the Monster Shark Tournament. It is on the 19th annual tournament from Oak Bluffs, Massachusetts. You'll see it on ESPN Wednesday night starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. These guys right here, Ron Krischer, he won Vegas back in 2002 at the spring race. Dave Conley's last win on tour came here at Las Vegas this year, beating Greg Anderson in the final.
Ron Krischer's been making good horsepower. I think he has a slight advantage in horsepower department over Dave Conley right now. But Dave Conley, we never count him out the way he runs the lights.
He's got the advantage again. But Krischer has the horsepower. He drives around him. 6.81 seconds to a 6.86. And right now that 6.81 is low elapsed time of the race for Ron Krischer.
How about Ron Krischer? That was a nice pass. You know, they got that thing hooked up off the starting line, had lane choice and chose that left-hand lane, but boy, carried it all the way to the other end to a nice run.
Let's go to the far end, Gary.
Jack, I know that in many senses this has been a frustrating season and it's been tough to find bright spots, but it looks like here late in the season things have been coming together, more consistency. What would it mean if you could pick up a Vegas victory?
It would mean a ton to us, without question. You know, we've been kind of up and down all year. Really nothing to hang our head about. You know, it's hard to say it's a first-year program with 10-time world champion and Bob Glidden and Schumacher and ourselves, but that's what it is. And you know, we're going to do our best out here to see if we can continue to go some rounds and maybe be a spoiler today and win one for the underdogs here.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Take a look at the Pro Stock points here, and you can see that the battle is really for second place right now. Jason Line is closing in on Kurt Johnson, and Kurt, like Warren, has never won here at Las Vegas. And you can see that there's a big drop on down as we get ready for KJ. He's in the left lane against Bob Pinella, who's won here twice at Las Vegas, but that was in the old Pro Stock truck category. Oh, perfect, like Pinella. To go down. Kurt Johnson drives around him. 6.80 to a 6.89. Pinella took the shot. The 62nd ever perfect light in NHRA Powerade competition, and it still wasn't enough.
And Bob Pinella knew he was down on horsepower compared to Kurt Johnson, so I mean he couldn't do any better on the starting line. 1,000th of a second quicker, he'd have gave it all away on a red light, but it didn't much matter because Kurt Johnson makes a very nice run. A lot of horsepower out of that AC Delco Cobalt, and just powers on by him and gets the win.
KJ with low elapsed time of the race now and has lane choice over Jake Coughlin in round number 2. We've got Jason Line and Ricky Smith coming to the line. You won't miss a thing. We're coming right back. You're on board with Jason Line. He will be over in the left lane here. First round action of Pro Stock at the AC Delco NHRA Nationals. Ricky Smith will be over in the right lane. We already showed you the point. Jason trying to close in on second place. KJ, Kurt Johnson has already won. Here we go. Advantage Jason. Watch him pull away. An easy win. 6.82 the elapsed time at 201 miles an hour. Jason easying out all through the far end of the racetrack in the new GTO. He'll get the winner between Richie Stevens and Greg Stanfield yet to come. Let's go back and take another look.
Jason Line just gets the jump right off the starting line, and boy, when you do that with a Greg Anderson horsepower under the hood, hang on, you're going to more often than not get the win.
Let's check in with Gary.
With Bob Pinella, who makes limited appearances out here with these guys, you get a perfect light, and it's still quite not enough. How tough is that to swallow?
Well, you know, when I first started racing my truck, I had the same problem. You know, a little horsepower disadvantage, maybe a little experience disadvantage, and just got to do the best I can do up there and hope the car goes on the racetrack as good as it can. Obviously, it wasn't good enough, but hey, we'll be all right. We'll test here tomorrow and make some headway and be okay tomorrow, hopefully.
Look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, as we get back to the action down at the starting line. Richie Stevens and Greg Stanfield. Stanfield, the number 12 qualifier. He went to a Pro Stock truck final here in 01, losing to guess who? Bob Pinella. For Richie Stevens, well, since his runner-up finish at Indy, he has yet to win another round of competition.
Richie Stevens has been pretty consistent all weekend in qualifying, but Greg Stanfield, he struggled. He only really got down the racetrack 2 out of 4 times.
He's talking about freshening motors. They do it about every 9 races. Most of these guys freshen them about every 3, and the ones with the big budgets, that's a big battle that you got to fight. Red light Richie. And And he throws away a 6.86. Greg Stanfield also runs 6.86 seconds. The third foul this year for Richie Stevens. And Bob Glidden, you saw him there heading back towards the pits. He's still got one out of his 2 team cars in the hunt. Let's talk about what happens in 2 weeks as we close out the 05 NHRA Powerade drag racing season at Pomona. We'll have qualifying Saturday, November 5th, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. Then Sunday, NHRA Today, presented by Lucas Oil at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then final elimination Sunday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN2 and ESPN2 HD. And as we get ready now for Greg Anderson, our #1 qualifier, this is Greg claiming the championship. And that is yesterday when the final run of qualifying took him to his 3rd consecutive Powerade championship. He joined some exclusive company. Bob Glidden was the last to do it. Lee Shepard did it. There they are. Lee did it 4 years in a row. Warren has 6 of them. Bob Glidden, of course, the leader in the clubhouse with 10. Again, exclusive company.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, if Alan Johnson could get around Greg Anderson, obviously it would be a huge upset. But I'll tell you right now, 2 cars have ran quicker than Greg Anderson's qualifying time. That was Ron Krischer and Kurt Johnson. So usually when that happens, it's like, okay, the atmospheric conditions are a little bit better. They hit a good setup. Now let's see what Greg can do.
You look down from high above in the Sanyo Lightship. Of course, for Greg, he has 4 Las Vegas wins, the most of anyone in Pro Stock. Won the race 1 year ago, setting the season single win record. Then at 14, passing John Force, who had 13. Of course, he went on to win another. Just spanks Alan Johnson at both ends of the racetrack. He cuts an 0.19 light and then runs 6.80 seconds to a 6.94. And you just saw from the Sanyo Lightship, he just drove away from AJ. All right, while he coasts on out, let's talk to the man who is, no pun intended, in the driver's seat in Funny Car. There he is with Dave Reef.
And the pendulum swings once again, Marty, back into Gary Scelzi's court, a court where you've had opportunities before. This time, though, what are you doing? How are you guys going to overcome? Make sure that you don't leave stuff on the table here.
Well, we can't make sure of anything. I mean, this is drag racing. You don't know what's what, but our car's been good all weekend. It's been qualifying really well. I was a little tardy on the starting line, maybe taking Densham a little bit too lightly. I got to be aggressive from here on out. I got to do my normal deal like I did in qualifying and get after it. Mike seems real comfortable with the tune-up, and if this Mopar runs like it's supposed to run, hopefully we'll do what we need to do.
You probably have an idea what John Force feels like. You were there 2 weeks ago.
I've been there several times this year, and you know what? It's too early to get excited in this race, but time is running out, and we know it, and so does everybody else.
It's only too early if you're Gary Scelzi.
All right, thanks, Dave. As we come back trackside, Erica Enders and Jim Yates. Erica, her highest qualifying spot in her career. She's qualified #3. And she has not lost in first round at the last 3 races. Yates is trying to change it. Oh, my. 006 for Erica. And air to spare. A 682 to a 687. So now make it 4 races in a row where Erica has gotten out of first round. This car and this team becoming a player.
I think Erica's getting much more comfortable, and that's what happens when you get a car that you know has the horsepower and has a chance of winning on Sunday. It just makes the good drivers better, and that's what's happening with Erica. Great job off the starting line and gets that thing right down the middle of the racetrack into the next round.
See the celebration by the crew. Take a look at the matchups now, and you'll see in round #2, it's Greg Anderson, Jason Line with the lane choice, as does over on the other side, Kurt Johnson and Ron Krischer. So that takes care of round #1 of Pro Stock. It'll be the 2-wheel version of Pro Stock. The motorcycles take center stage when we come back to Las Vegas. Sound of a warm-up in the Top Fuel pits. That's David Grubnick's camp as they get ready for second round of Top Fuel action. We're getting ready for first round of Pro Stock Motorcycle. The Harleys have dominated Pro Stock Motorcycle in 05, and they've got the Powerade Championship locked up. But will the title go to Andrew Hines or GT Tonglin? Hines is on top of the point standings, but Tonglin tasted the lead earlier in the year, and you can bet he's hoping for a little bit of luck in Las Vegas. All right, let's take a look at the points after qualifying. Andrew leads GT by 47. Then it drops off, and there's a lot of battles at stake for the top 10 that end up on the stage at the awards ceremony, and you can see just how close it is all the way through down to Craig Treble. And let's get you caught up on what happened in round number 1 of Pro Stock Motorcycle. And first up, it would be Craig Treble and Antron Brown. And you want to know why Antron's not in the championship chase? That red light, 4th foul of the year. Treble goes 7.26 seconds to take the win. Then would bring up GT Tonglin, Matt Smith. GT has to win, but he gets off the line a little bit tardy. Matt Smith has the advantage and gets the win, 7.29 seconds. So GT in a world of hurt. How about Karen Stouffer and Tom Bradford? Karen at 0.39 light and 0.12 for Tom Bradford. Who gets the win? Tom Bradford with his first ever round win in Pro Stock Motorcycle at a 7.27. Then it was Chip Ellis and Matt Guidera. Another red light. This time Guidera. He hands the win to Chip. Chip runs it through at 7.21 seconds to move into second round action. That would bring us to Steve Johnson. Chip Rivas. And Rivas goes red. Hands Johnson the win. 7.29 seconds. And he's into second round as well. Then it was Ryan Schnitz and Mike Berry. And watch this, because Berry goes red, but he's actually going to run a quicker elapsed time. He's going to be kicking himself for a long time on this one. Schnitz goes 7.26 seconds. Then it was Angel Sampey and Joe DeSantis. Angel laid off the line. Would she make it up at the other end? Yes. 7.27 seconds later, she's in the second round action. So now that left it to Andrew Hines. His teammate is already out. He can widen the points lead. But look at the light, a 1.05 to an 0.13. And guess what? The number 15, well, Gino Scally does it. Takes the win. And that means the points championship is going to stay close going into the final race. It is Craig Treble and Angel Sampey with the lane choice in round number 2 on one side. Over on the other side, Tom Bradford and Chip Ellis with the lane choice there. When we come back, it'll be time for round 2 of Top Fuel. It'll be Brandon Bernstein. He had the quickest elapsed time in round number 1. Guess who had the second quickest? Tony Schumacher. And they square off. Welcome back to Las Vegas. It's the AC Delco Las Vegas Nationals, and we're getting ready for round number 2 of Top Fuel. You're looking at David Grubnick. He'll be in the right lane, up against number 1 qualifier Morgan Lucas in the left lane. Just in case you are tuning in and did not see round number 1, let's take you back and show you what happened. Big tire smoke early as David Grubnick and Corey McLenathan do battle. And look at Corey when he lost at the far end of the racetrack because he could not get the car to recover. Doug Herbert, Jack Beckman, they also have a tire smoking affair, but the experience of Doug Herbert pays off. Then it's Melanie Troxel up in tire smoke, and Doug Foley gets his first ever professional round win. And look at the dejection on Melanie's face. And then this is Morgan Lucas and Joe Hartley, and Morgan recovers quicker than Joe and takes the round win. Take a look at the matchups now in round number 2. Arrow indicates it is Lucas, Scott Coletta, Brandon Bernstein, that's going to be a dandy, and Doug Foley with the lane choice here in second round of Top Fuel. You're on board right now with David Grubnick. Joining us in the broadcast booth, a man who won a funny car championship here just a couple of years ago, Tony Pedregon. Fond memories of this place. Unfortunately, not going to be around for second round, though.
Yeah, we got caught. They had a World of Outlaws meet here, and I think a lot of the dust got on the track. That was probably the biggest reason you saw a lot of the Top Fuel cars smoke of the tires. But we as a team were responsible for adapting, and we didn't do a good enough job, but Crew's still in the game, and Q is.
All right, let's go down track side. And David Grubnick takes the win light, 4.55 seconds. You saw Morgan Lucas having problems. It's not going to make his dad Forrest recovery any better. He just got out of the hospital. We send our best to him. Unfortunately, he just saw his son go down to defeat, Mike.
How about David Grubnick? He's been struggling all weekend long. Only made really one good run in qualifying, but the sun's out. That track's a little bit greasy, and they lay down a number of 4:55 to give him in the next round. That's a nice pass, Tony.
Yeah, it really is. In this kind of heat, you know, you can say what you want about the track, but there have been a few teams that have gotten down, and a 4:55 under these conditions is pretty impressive, especially in that right lane.
So Grubnick, who remember is in a tight chase for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th in the top fuel points, picks up 20 more valuable points. That's round money and bonus money at the end of the year as we get ready for our next pair down on the starting line, Doug Foley and Doug Herbert. And there is Herbert, and you can already see Grubnick will get the winner between Scott Coletta and John Smith. And then the matchup that we're getting ready to see, Doug Herbert will be in the right lane, Doug Foley in the left lane. Are there any unique characteristics about this? We always talk about the bump about mid-track where the tunnel is. Do you guys notice it in the funny cars? Because we see it. I mean, it's just profound when the motorcycles are out there.
You know, as a driver, you really can't feel it in the car, but it's pretty amazing. I was actually, when we got out of competition, I went up down track, which, you know, we really don't take the time to do enough of it. I watched Worsham and Force, and I was amazed in the right lane when Dell came off of that bump. I thought his car would start to get loose because sometimes it might have a tendency to unload the chassis. That car stayed glued, I think thanks to a lot of the aerodynamics, but it's still a good racetrack surface. Even though it's got some temperature, it's very smooth, and if you have your clutch set up right, it'll make that transition no problem.
The track temperature has gone up into triple digits now, and that's not been the case most of the weekend as we get ready for Doug Herbert. I mean, this guy right now is one of the hottest drivers on top fuel turf. As we take a look at the weather.
A little bit warmer than the first round. We're up to 83 degrees. Atmosphere, or the humidity is about the same. Very, very dry, but that track temperature, 104 degrees. That's the key. It's just getting a little bit greasier out there, but we saw David Grubnick make a very nice run.
There is the sunshine beating down on the track as you see Doug Foley picking up his first ever top fuel round win. We had 3 winners of their first rounds in 3 of our professional categories this weekend. And can he take number 2? It's going to be hard. Doug Herbert's been to 4 straight semifinals. You better make that 5 straight semifinals. A 4:65 elapsed time to a 4:74. And you saw what happened to poor Doug Foley. He had a cylinder drop about 3/4 track.
That probably cost him the race. He got a little bit of a jump on Doug Herbert, and it looked like it might have been lights out, but there's no denying that Snap-on car. They've been running good. Looks like the chemistry is really good with that team, and well, he took advantage of that cylinder out and pulled it off. That's a big win for him.
And let's shift gears for a moment. Let's go back into the pits with Dave Reef.
The number 1 plate in Pro Stock Motorcycle belongs to Andrew Hines. Who's going to get it this year, though? It's going to come down to either Andrew Hines or his teammate GT Tonga, but we saw both disappear in round 1. This means it's going to go on to Pomona. GT, want to find out what happened to you this weekend first?
Just had a tough weekend. The Screaming Eagle Vance team struggled. I mean, we had an off weekend, and I guess we're allowed to have those every now and then, but we're going to go into Pomona pretty strong, and we're still in a battle for the championship.
47 points, but Andrew, you had a green light to put some gap on your teammate here. What happened to your machine?
We seem to have broke a crankshaft. It's something that's never happened before to the Screaming Eagle V-Rod. About 1,000 foot, it just locked up the rear tire. Went about -2 Gs when I was already pulling about 1, so it was a 3 G change, and my head hit the windscreen, and you know, we're just going to battle back and work hard to win Pomona and work for this championship a little harder.
All is not lost, though, for this young man who did get engaged to his sweetheart, Tanya Phillips. They will be married next April.
And I want to ask you about the weight that these two are going to have for 2 weeks, Tony. But first, we want to set up our next pair. Big showdown here between Brandon Bernstein and Tony Schumacher. Tony looking for his 300th round win in Top Fuel competition. But more importantly, another step towards a $100,000 bonus at the end of the day.
This is a big matchup right here. I mean, the 2 quickest cars from the first round, 4:48 for Brandon Bernstein, 4:50 for Tony Schumacher, and they're in the lanes that they ran those numbers. We saw a lot of tire smoke in the initial round of Top Fuel. I tell you, crew chief Tim Richards did a great job with Brandon Bernstein's car. Just softened it up really soft off the first 60 feet and then just got after it to run that number. Made a great pass.
What was it like for you we mentioned that 2-week stretch that those two are going to have to wait for that championship in Pro Stock Motorcycle in 03 when you were waiting to get to that next race?
Well, these guys are pros. They've been doing it long enough. But you know, if Selzy can come out here, he's in the seat. If he can win that next round and come out, go into that last race ahead of Forrest. Forrest had never really seen anything like that.
Here we go with this matchup. Well, Tony had to pedal, but he gets the win light. 5:04 the lap time. Look at Allen. He's sort of wondering, oh, I thought I had this figured out. Tim Richards. Remember, these two cars went 4:48 for Brandon, a 4:50 in the first round. They had it figured out. Now the temperature comes up, and both of them have problems.
Well, and that's what happens. It's different every round, and it throws these crew chiefs a fit. I tell you, this was just a driver's race. Tony Schumacher just outdrove Brandon Bernstein. He had 0.06 of a second advantage off the starting line, went into tire smoke, got it to recover a little bit better than Brandon, obviously, and got it to the other end ahead of him and into the semifinals.
And there's Doug Herbert. He's going to have Tony Schumacher in the semifinals. Let's go talk to him.
How tough is this racetrack to figure out today, Doug?
I'll tell you what, the sun came out today and it's hot, and the racetrack conditions are changing pretty good. I'm sure that's why everybody's having a little bit of trouble. Snap-on, Wayne Dupuis, excuse me, and Jip Brissett, all my guys on Snap-on team are doing a great job with everybody that we got on board with Redline Oil and Justice Brothers and Grace Briggs and everybody that helps us. Can't say enough. I tell you what, we got something for this guy.
All right, Schumacher, next round could be very interesting.
Well, and of course, Doug Herbert likes to fly both on the track, and he has his own plane. And speaking of flying, there's a couple of F-15s. Nellis Air Force Base close by, and it leads us into our AmeriQuest tech spec because we want to talk about the comparison between these two.
Two of the baddest machines on the planet. The F-16, 49 feet, 6 inches tall, top fuel dragster, 32 feet long, I should say. The height is 16.5 feet on the F-16, 7.5 feet on the dragster. Weight just under 30,000 pounds as opposed to just over 2,200 for the dragster. Max speed, Mach 2 for the F-16, 1,345 miles per hour, 337 for the top fuel dragster. How about that range? 1,407 miles for the F-16, top fuel dragster. They just go 1,320 feet. How about that cost? $150,000 to get your dragster, but if you want one of them F-16s, it's going to cost you $8.2 million to take her off the lot.
And Tony Pedregon's smiling here because he likes that price tag now. It sounds a little better for that car compared to that jet.
I never thought I'd hear anything that actually consumes more parts and fuel than one of these top fuel funny car machines. Pretty impressive, bro. That plane.
All right, let's get ready for Scott Coletta and John Smith. Remember, you heard John Smith talk about he wants to get into 10th place in the championship points standings. He's got a long way to go. He's 62 points behind Rod Fuller. He's got to win here. Not going to happen. Scott Coletta, 4.63 seconds, and Scott going to his first semifinal since Joliet as he makes the win light here at 326 miles an hour.
How about Jim Oberhofer and Scott Coletta? They've talked about having trouble making the horsepower. Well, right now with the conditions, I don't know if you need a whole lot of horsepower. I mean, we saw David Grubnick, his teammate, run that 455, but a 463 is a nice run for the conditions. Run against John Smith, they felt that would probably be a good enough run to get around him. John had a nice run early in the run, but then you see right there, he starts putting out cylinders, and that just allowed Scott Coletta to pull away into the semifinals.
And as you see at the far end of the racetrack, with what has happened here in the round, Doug Herbert has moved back ahead of Morgan Lucas into 5th place in the points. Grubnick will have lane choice here in the semifinals over his teammate Scott Coletta. And Doug Herbert, as we mentioned, back into 5th in the championship hunt, will have lane choice over Tony Schumacher. And we have got to take a commercial break. When we come back, it'll be Eric Medlin, Gary Selzy. It is a huge matchup in Funny Car, the championship points chase. And we'll also have Powerade Power Time.
Today's Speed World presentation of the AC Delco NHRA Las Vegas Nationals, brought to you by Right Guard Extreme. Get extreme. Get Right Guard. And by McDonald's.
And you're looking at the Bellagio, the fountains at the Bellagio here as we come back here to Las Vegas and the AC Delco Las Vegas Nationals. And we want to talk about the preeminent sports fishing event of the season as ESPN reels in the 19th annual Monster Shark Tournament. No sharks in the Bellagio tank, although you might find a few at the poker tables. It comes from Oak Bluffs, Massachusetts, Wednesday night starting at 8 Eastern. Time now for Powerade Power Time. 2 weeks ago in Dallas, the fans saw very emotional John Force with good reason. His daughter and future funny car driver Ashley wrote him a letter that inspired the 13-time champion. This Powerade Power Time, John and Ashley talked about that letter.
And I was just having one of those typical days. The world was caving in. The points deal was in the tank. We weren't looking so good. Car wouldn't run, Coyle told me. And I charged in my trailer, and there's a letter from Ashley.
Been really moody and kind of cranky, and he really got it the worst from anybody else. He didn't do anything wrong, he's just my dad. So the next morning on the way out to the track, I thought, I'm going to bring him a Starbucks latte, and I'm going to write him a letter and just kind of apologize. And, you know, instead of telling it to him, I thought, maybe I'll just write it, and then he can read it whenever he has time.
Things are not going very well at flight school. I suck at TV commercials, and I haven't gone more than 10 feet in a funny car, which is not true, okay? And now I'm moody at the track. And she goes, the fans love you so much. We're so opposite. I can never be like you. You get so caught up in this fight, you forget why you came. And what is really most important, family. And it just kind of freed me mentally of going out there and basically getting my butt whipped, because I figured it was coming.
It's funny because he's a very emotional guy, and he takes those kind of things to heart. And as much as I know he wants to win out here, I think he just enjoys really being out here racing. No matter what happens, maybe you'll get a letter from me this week. I don't know.
We got the best tuners and guys. We're going to go out and kick Schumacher's butt, whether he likes it or not.
Hey, we've got to go to commercial break, and look out, John, that could be a future competitor in funny car, and it'll be time for the floppers when we come back here in Las Vegas.
I think the pressure is actually different when it gets down to the end like this, because I'm starting to enjoy it. Yeah, I still have the big butterflies with the 747s flying around, but I'm loving it.
Back here at the AC Delco Las Vegas Nationals, and we thank our friends in the Sanyo Lightship for our aerial views today. The best views of the action from inside the Sanyo Lightship, flying overhead with the eye in the sky camera to bring us these great shots of all the racing action. And they're going to be with us at Pomona as well. All right, let's get you caught up in round number 1 of funny car action, because it was wild. Ron Capps, Tim Wilkerson, must-win situation for Capps. He's third in the points chase. He takes care of business. Gary Scelzi and Gary Dencham. Dencham was out on Scelzi, but Scelzi gets around at the stripe. Take a look at the photo finish. It was just that close. And then it was Frank Pedregon and Eric Medlin. And it's Eric Medlin taking the win light, keeping his faint hopes alive as he beats Frank. But Robert Hike goes down to defeat again as he goes up on almost instantaneous tire smoke. Mike Ashley gets his first round win as a professional funny car driver. And then the biggest surprise of all, 13-time champ John Force goes down to defeat the first round for the 10th time this year at the hands of Del Worsham. Take a look at the matchups here in our funny car ladder presented by Lucas Oil, and you can see that Scelzi, Worsham, Capps, and Bartone have lane choice here in second round action of funny car. And the first one matchup we'll look at, it will be Cruz Pedregon, your brother, Tony. He'll be in the left lane, Tony Bartone over in the right lane.
We're hoping they made the right adjustments. We fed back some information after we smoked the tires right at the step, and they still didn't pull the car back enough. But there's some temperature. But you got to remember there was some temperature in the the early session yesterday was 112 degrees. Not that hot, so there's a good chance they can get down the track. But this is Dunn's game too.
Tire smoke. And Bartone is going to coast on through to take the win light. So 6:07 is the elapsed time for Tony Bartone. Don't know what happened to him. For Bartone, he's going to back-to-back semifinals here at Las Vegas after doing it at Dallas.
Boy, Cruz had a big advantage off the starting line, but he just went about 60 feet and started spinning the tires. That's all Tony Bartone needed, even though the car quit on him just about half track. Cruz did a good job to get it recovered and tried to chase him down, but it was just too late.
Let's shift gears, go back into the pits, check in with Dave Reeve.
Down with Erica Enders, and I say down because I don't want this young lady to stand. We were going to talk about the late season surge this team has put together, 4 consecutive races with at least round wins, a couple of semifinals, but right now we just kind of want to stay low and calm. You're not feeling 100%.
Nope, definitely not feeling 100% today, but we're going to see if we can perform 100%. We definitely got a good car this weekend, a car that's very capable of winning this event. If I can keep up my driving job, we got a good shot.
We actually were just talking also about the fact that sometimes when you're down, it enables you to focus a little bit better. Take me back to a divisional last fall.
Yeah, we were in Memphis, and I had a stomach flu of some sort, and I was getting out of the car and getting sick and getting back in, put my helmet on, and we ended up getting to the finals. I lost in the finals, but we had a good weekend, so hopefully we'll repeat here.
What a great job by this team, Marty. Keep in mind they do their own engines in shop. They build their own cars in shop. This was a new owner, new crew chief, everybody coming together, and they're starting to see the fruits of their labors.
All right, thanks. And there is Cruz at the far end of the racetrack and running his hands through what is getting to be longer hair. And Tony, he made that promise not to cut his hair until he gets a win. What, back at Brainerd? What happens? Does this carry over till next year?
God, please let him win a race soon. I hope his wife Sharon sneaks in December and cuts it. Cruz is a man of his word, and I know they're wanting real bad, but Pomona's a good track, good conditions. Maybe he'll have his chance to cut that hair.
All right, and there is Del Worsham's wife, Connie. She doesn't have to worry about Del cutting his hair. He won back at Indy, doubled up. In fact, that's what Tony's trying to do here today. Tony Schumacher in Top Fuel. Del will be in the right lane. Tommy Johnson Jr. in the left lane. It is all Del Worsham. Connie likes it. The team likes it. Del, 4.96 seconds at 314 miles an hour.
Boy, the teams with lane choice are taking the right-hand lane right now, and I'll tell you, you could really see Del Worsham hit that dip about half track, and that's a situation where I think you'll agree, Tony, if the track is cool, it's not that big of a deal, but when it starts getting hot like that, it can definitely upset that car as you go over that dip.
Yeah, it really does, and I think it just goes to show you that they've got a good setup on it. You know, they're apparently sliding the clutch just the right amount to where it's not disrupting the chassis. I didn't see any tire haze, any loss of power down track, so this is kind of their game. I think they're at their strongest when there's some temperature in the track, and they're showing it here today.
Let's go to the far end, Gary.
Tony Bartone, 2 events in a row, getting to the semifinals. Am I detecting a pleasant little trend here?
Well, you know, it's a pleasant surprise. We struggled to qualify. We qualified strong on the 4th qualifying session yesterday. And we've got this CMKX Lucas Oil Products car going rounds. That's what it's all about. And we're just tickled pink to be here. We're tickled pink to be in the program, and we're excited to be in the semifinal round.
The way this track's reacting, this could be a wide open deal.
You know, I never did this before, but I got to say hello to my family. Hello, Mama Sia, Anthony, and Alexandra. Hi, guys.
There's a first for everything.
All right, thanks, Gary. All right, you're on board with Ron Capps. Mike Ashley will be over in the left lane. More on this matchup, but first, let's get caught up on this week's edition of the Brute Essence of the NHRA.
One of the coolest things about going to a national event is what's called the Cackle Fest. It's a selected races, but I'm sitting in the Coolin Olson front motor top fuel car. Now, I used to go to the races with my dad. This was the car. I mean, there were cars that would make low 6-second runs over 230 miles an hour, smoke coming off the rear tires, and the driver not even being able to see over the engine. Now, you talk about the essence of drag racing. These guys were the pioneers. These guys are what made it happen.
You see how big that engine is? There's the view from behind, what Ron Capps sees. Your dad, Flamin' Frank, I mean, some nostalgia there.
That's where it all started. We're just trying to continue the legacy, and we'll have his dragster on display at the finals.
That'll be 2 weeks, so all fans that are heading for Pomona, look for it. It'll be a sharp piece. All right, let's talk about this huge matchup. There's Whit Bazemore cheering his teammate on. That's all he can do. He went to a championship battle down to the wire, and guess who won that one? Standing right between us. His name's Tony Pedregon. And there's John Force, because he wants to see Mike Ashley get his 2nd round win as a pro right now. On a rail. Ron Capps, 4.82 seconds. Ace McCullough says, hey, fellas, we are here to mean some business. And guess what? With the win, Capps is now only 14 points behind leader John Force. And Gary Scelzi still to come, guys.
Wow, them boys are serious. I mean, talk about Andy Ace McCullough. He runs a 479 in the 1st round. He backs it up with a 482. They run 260 miles per hour at the 8th. That's awfully good in these conditions, huh, Tony?
That is impressive. Like I said, the track temperature probably isn't any more than it was at first session, but no denying these guys have a good combination. Ace is on his game, and I got to say these guys are they're going to be the sleeper in this championship chase, because there's probably going to be 3 cars going into that last race that are all going to have a pretty good shot.
Oh, and guess what? We're getting a lane change here. So Gary Scelzi is going to move over into the right lane. So it gives us a chance for this week's edition of Scelzi Says. It has to do with anger management.
Hey friends, are you stressed out, uptight, just plain ticked off? Don't get angry, get gas. Gary's Anger School. As you can see, Wayne Dupuis here is enrolled in my 3-week course and everything is going just fine. But don't take my word for it. Let's check in on a couple of gas graduates. Here's before. And here's after they got gas. See, if it worked for Doug and Clay, it could work for you. So folks, when you're upset, don't get angry, get gas. I think Wayne still needs a little work. Boy, do I feel better now. No real bottles were harmed in this filming, but kids, don't try this at home.
Okay, that's one of your funny car brethren right there.
I got no comment on that. I can guarantee you that's the last thing that Scelzi's thinking about, but he's a seasoned veteran, and he's got a tough race, but I'm going to probably maybe not speak out of line, but I would say that this is the way that Force wants it. He likes to control his own destiny. No better situation to have one of his cars pitted up against a car that's breathing down his points lead right now.
All right, and there you see the Force family, Ashley, Laurie, and let's talk a little bit about Eric Medlin, because John, of course, was the tuner when you won the championship, clinched it right here. What do you think is going through his thought process right now in this round?
Well, John Medlin, there isn't a whole lot that moves him. He's one of the best in the business. He's proven that. He's got a championship to prove that. Right now, he's racing the conditions. He's not thinking about anything else. Force is probably over there talking a mile a minute, but Medlin's in his game. He's going to keep Scelzi honest, but that Oakley car, no denying it. There's a good chance that this may go down on the starting line, but it almost seems to have you're at a disadvantage if you're in that left lane. But if anybody can get down it, John Medlin's probably the guy.
Quickly to Dave Reeve.
Same story for Mike Neff, racing the conditions, saw better results out of the cars ahead of him in the right lane, going all the way back to Top Fuel Dragster. That's why he made the last second lane switch. Very critical race.
Scelzi wins this round. He takes the points lead again. Medlin, a ton of pressure. The boss right behind him. Medlin can't do it. Our 9th lead change this year in Funny Car. And it's Gary Scelzi back on top, 4.83 seconds. Look out, Team Schumacher.
This is exactly what Gary Scelzi wanted. Reaction time, great. 0.72. He picked up 700s for them his first round reaction time, so he was on his game. And Mike Neff, what can you say? He gave him a great race car to get that thing down the right-hand lane. Obviously, the lane switched helped out because we saw everybody else in front of him that had lane choice choose that right-hand lane, and we're making good runs.
Right now, Gary Scelzi leads by 8 over John Force. There's still 40 more points out there, and he has lane choice over Del Worsham in one of our Funny Car semifinals. Ron Capps has the lane choice in the other semifinal. And we want to say so long to Tony Pedregon. Thanks so much for joining us here in the penalty box. We'll wish you good fortune at Pomona.
Yeah, 2 weeks, and I don't know if they can top my show that we put on with Bazemore a couple years ago, but it seems like they're on their way, and it's going to, make no mistake, it's going to go down to the last race with about 3 cars.
It's going to be fun to watch. Stay with us. We've got Pro Stock second round action coming up. That's Jag Coughlin. Yep, he's around in second round action. He is going up against Kurt Johnson. Oh, and if we enjoyed the ride, hope you have too. Here at the AC Delco Las Vegas Nationals, race 22 of 23 on the NHRA Powerade Drag Racing Series. I'm Marty Reed, along with Mike Dunn, Dave Reef, Gary Gerald, and our entire ESPN2 crew. And we're so glad you're with us as we are getting ready for second round action in Pro Stock. 106 degrees now, the track temperature. As we get ready for Jason Line in the left lane, Greg Stanfield in the right lane. He's got the lane choice. Jason does, that is. So does his teammate Greg Anderson, Kurt Johnson, and Ron Krischer here in second round action. You're on board with Jason Line. He's 5-1 in his career over Greg Stanfield. Both cars are pre-staged. Great reaction time for Stanfield. The win light to Greg Stanfield in a hole shot. 6.90 the elapsed time. 6.87 for Jason, the fourth reaction time loss for Jason Line this year.
How about old Greg Stanfield? I mean, he just does a great job of getting a 0.04 of a second advantage off the starting line. Both cars really missed the setup off the starting line. They spun the tires 103 and 60 foot, but Greg Anderson was able to hold off for the win.
Dave Reef?
And if you talk to Greg Stanfield, he'll be the first to tell you this is a team that, quite frankly, is just holding on. They broke their good motor a couple of races ago. Their goal, try to stay in the top 10. They're down on power. They're down on budget. That means they haven't fixed that broken motor. So that was a huge, huge boost to this team, trying to keep in the top 10, trying to get up on that podium.
Take a look at the Q photo finish, and that's how close it was. Length in favor of Greg Stanfield. And want to point out that if he can, or if Ron Krischer goes down to defeat here, Greg Stanfield will move into 6th place in the championship points chase. But Erica Enders has been running very strong lately. This is a rematch from round 2 at Dallas.
Yeah, Erica's been looking very good, but Ron Krischer looked very good in that first round match win for him when he ran that 681, which was quicker than actually Greg's Anderson's #1 qualifying time. So he's obviously got the horsepower.
First off the line, Erica again. She may not be feeling well, but for the second race in a row, she's going to the semifinals at the expense of Ron Krischer. It's her 3rd semi in a row, to be exact. A 6.85 hole shot win to a 6.84 for Ron Krischer, his 5th reaction time loss.
Erica's doing a great job. She had 14 thousandths of a second advantage over Ron Krischer, and she needed it because Ron Krischer was right there, ran a 1,000th of a second quicker, but because Erica got off the starting line first, she got the win.
And it's Erica's first hole shot win. Hey, just a few moments ago, we had a chance to catch up with Don Schumacher. Let's check in, Dave Reef.
Does the car owner Don Schumacher go through the same roller coaster ride in these ultra tight points races as the driver do?
Without a doubt. I mean, you know, I haven't been throwing up between rounds, but do not sleep well at night. And this last 3 months in the funny car chase has been unbelievable with a points swing back and forth. I mean, this Oakley Mopar car has been just fantastic, really all year long. John comes out and does his stuff and takes it away from us. These guys fight right on back, and that root car with Ron Capps, they're right there also. And this thing is going to be a battle all the way through Pomona, without a doubt.
And this is a guy with a Top Fuel title in his back pocket.
All right, thanks, Dave. You know, there's a scenario we may talk about if we get a chance. We could have 3 racers in funny car separated by 8 points, depending on how it falls in these last 2 rounds. Right now, it's Jake Coughlin and Kurt Johnson in Pro Stock. Jake beat KJ round 2 just a couple of weeks ago at Dallas.
2 of the best in the business, but KJ has a horsepower advantage over Jaggy right now, so Jaggy's going to try to get the jump off the line.
He does. Is it enough? No. 6.87. Kurt just drives around him at 202 miles an hour. Jag a 689 at 200.
Just a good old drag race. Jaggy had 200ths of a second, like I said, Marty, right off the starting line, but just did not have the horsepower because both cars were 103 and 60 foot. Probably spun the tires a little bit because it was greasy, but then KJ with that horsepower on the other end was able to just barely drive around.
Take a look at the Q photo finish. That's how close it was at the stripe. Take a look at the incrementals. The margin of victory, 54 10,000th of a second.
And look at those times, Marty. Jake Coughlin had the advantage right from the starting line all the way to half track, but Kurt Johnson was able to drive around at the end.
Back at the starting line, Mark Powick and Greg Anderson. You know, these guys early in Greg's driving career were teammates. Right now, Mark would like to dump the new 3-time Powerade champion. Let's go to Gary.
Kurt Johnson comes climbing out of that AC Delco machine. 87, not the number I have a feeling you were hoping to see.
We don't care about numbers. All we care about is win lights out there. And, you know, when you run Jeggy, you run the best out there, and you got to be on the tree. And, you know, he must have run pretty slow, too, because he's always hot on the tree. And he was shaking in second gear. The thing is, just let the clutch out, got a little aggressive, chattered all the way through second gear, put it in third, cleared up, nice straight run now. Hopefully we can put this AC Delco Cobalt into a winner's circle today.
Another pair coming up right now.
Slight advantage, Powick. Big horsepower, Greg Anderson. 6.82, the elapsed time at 2:01. In fact, just a tick under 2:02. So Greg Anderson continues his march towards another win here at Las Vegas. He's already got 4 of them here. We've got to take a commercial break from the Sanyo Light Shift. You take a look at the run and watch as he pulls away. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, the main event. Will one of the legends of poker win it all? Or will the streak of unknowns continue?
Braver wins it all. This is beyond fairy tale. It's inconceivable.
Someone will leave Vegas $7.5 million richer and become poker's next legend. But who? The World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. The main event, Tuesdays at 8 on ESPN.
Applebee's new Italian style is here.
Mambo Italiano, you must go.
And that's Erica Ender's crew and Pro Stock as they are heading back to the area. They'll get weighed at the scales, get the fuel tested, and then they'll be back in action in the pits. And we get ready now for second round action in Pro Stock Motorcycle. Gino Scali and Tom Bradford coming to the line. And bundle of nerves for Tom. Let's take a look at our Pro Stock Motorcycle ladder presented by Lucas Oil. It's Craig Treble, Angel, Bradford, and Chip Ellis with the lane choice. Of course, Bradford was our 3rd professional to pick up his first round win here in competition. He did that a little while ago, and now he's got lane choice in second round against Gino Scali, the man who dumped Andrew Hines and kept the Pro Stock Motorcycle Championship alive for one more race.
Gino Scali's a former Powerade champion, but Tom Bradford, don't count him out. He's looked very, very good this weekend.
004 for Bradford. He survives the bump at mid-track and runs a very nice 7:29, and he's batting 1,000. He's 2 for 2. 2 hands on the wheels, please. 181 miles an hour. Take another look.
What a job he's been doing. He had another great rack. He was 0-12 in the first round. He backs that up with a 004. He is on his game. And when you got a bike that runs that good, it'll get the rider pumped up.
Let's check in at the far end with Gary Gerould.
We opened this day talking about how relaxed Greg Anderson was with that pressure of the championship now off your shoulders, 3-time champion. Is it as much fun? Are you as relaxed as you hope to be at this point of the day?
I think so. I think I'm right on schedule. I feel great. I just feel wonderful getting in the car. I'm having fun. You can't ask for any more than that, Gary. It just doesn't happen very often that you get it like this. And this is living. This is when it's fun racing. And, you know, Summit and Pontiac, they just got a great car underneath me today. And it's getting hot out there. I mean, it's really getting tricky out there. And guys are just killing the tree today. So it's going to be brutal. But you know what? I think I'm up for the challenge.
All right. Spoken like a true champion.
He's got 3 of them in his hip pocket. We get ready for Angel Sampey, left lane. Steve Johnson in the right. Win light to Angel, 7.31 the elapsed time, 180 miles an hour. So Angel moves into the semifinals. Now solidifies her position in 3rd place in the points championship chase. She moves about 34 markers ahead of her teammate Antron Brown. And while they roll on out, It'll give us a chance to talk about what's going to be coming up in 2 weeks. We'll cap off the 05 season in Pomona with the AAA of Southern California Finals. We'll have qualifying Saturday at 10:30 Eastern Time, November 5th. And then NHRA Today on Sunday, November 6th at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 on the Pacific Coast. And final elimination Sunday evening at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. All of it on ESPN2 and ESPN2 HD. Right now you're looking at Ryan Schnitz, the #1 qualifier. He'll be in the right lane up against Craig Treble in the left lane. Treble looking for a potential new sponsor. Matco told him they're cutting back. And the win light goes to Treble. That may help him find a new sponsor. His last semifinal was back at Denver, but he runs to a 7.25 second elapsed time at 188 miles an hour. And as you see the reaction, let's go to the far end, talk to Tom Bradford.
Well, let's talk about reaction here. Tom, are you pinching yourself? I mean, 2 for 2 on the day and stepping up, going to the semis, big stuff.
Well, I'm hungry. I'll tell you, the boys at Hal Speed Shop and Bernie Cohen, thank you. We're just really hungry out here. This is our 3rd NHRA race this year, and to come out here with a brand new motorcycle and have success like this, we're just happy to be going rounds.
And boy, I tell you, it's a sleek-looking paint job. I like this. I like the look of this machine, guys.
And it is flying down the racetrack, that's for sure, as he has done extremely well. Now we get ready for Chip Ellis and Matt Smith. Smith over in the right lane. In fact, Matt is on the bike that Ellis won here at Las Vegas just last year. Let's talk a little bit about the 05 Rookie of the Year finals, because Chip Ellis is one of them. Eric Enders, Robert Hight, Jack Beckman the other, and consensus is that Robert Hight is going to win. Although if Erica, as you mentioned yesterday in qualifying, she comes on strong here at the end, she might make a race of it.
Yeah, I mean, if she won a couple races, the last 2 races, she'd definitely be in the running.
Light goes to Chip Ellis, 7.25 the elapsed time at 182 miles an hour. George Bryce likes the results as he finds himself in to the semifinals with a chance to maybe win here 2 years in a row. Here are the semifinal matchups. Craig Treble has lane choice over Angel, and it will be Chip Ellis with the choice over Tom Bradford. Stay with us when we come back. It'll be time for semifinals in Top Fuel. Doug Herbert, boy, 5 races in a row. He's been in the semis. He's going up against the man who has won 2 championships in a row, Tony Schumacher. All right, next. Got a C-17 Globemaster taking off from nearby Nellis Air Force Base. We want to remind you, log on to 100-Yard Blitz. Enter EXHAUST, tonight's code word for your chance to win an HD TV. All right, let's get you caught up on what happened in Top Fuel. If you're just tuning in, take you back to round number 2. David Grubnick and Morgan Lucas. Morgan smokes the tires. He was the pole sitter, but was never a factor, and this one is Grubnick moves on. Doug Herbert, Doug Foley. Doug was going to win. Which one? Herbert. He's in the semifinal, 5th in a row. Tony Schumacher and Brandon Bernstein. Brandon goes up and smoke first, then Tony has to pedal a few times, but he's still in the hunt for that double-up bonus and a $600,000 weekend. Take a look at our semifinal matchups. Top Fuel ladder presented by Lucas Oil. You've got Grubnick and Herbert with the lane choice, and it's going to be that Doug Herbert, Tony Schumacher match that's coming to the line right now. This is a rematch of the last 2 finals that we've had at Dallas and Joliet. Tony won both of them over Doug. Is Doug going to win this one?
Well, it was a situation after those previous 2 wins that Wayne Dupuis says, I don't know how to beat that guy in these good track conditions. Just makes so much horsepower. But right now the sun's out. It may be the equalizer to give Doug Herbert that edge.
Both up in smoke. But it is Schumacher again getting the win light. He is 1 round away from a $600,000 weekend. Can you believe this?
2 runs in a row, Tony Schumacher smoked the tires and gotten the win. And the key is he's smoking the tires further down track than the competition. Previous round it was Brandon Bernstein. This time it's Doug Herbert. You saw Doug Herbert spin the tires very soon, but Tony Schumacher spun probably about 400 feet actually down track. That allowed him to have a little bit of a chance. It's a little bit easier farther down track to get to recover than earlier, and then plus you have that momentum, so it makes it very tough for Doug Herbert, who spins the tires very early.
Tony going to his 11th final this year, 55th of his career. And with this appearance in the finals, he ties a record currently held by Larry Dixon, Corey McClenathan, and Scott Coletta. Let's see him there. And there's Doug Herbert, still wondering, how do I go about beating this guy? Let's check in with the man who has gone 6 in a row to the finals.
Boy, he is putting up some kind of numbers here, and this time he pedals it, wins it in a different fashion. The thing I'm curious about, with the bonus money that's on the line, what you've already made this weekend, do you think about the money at all?
Not for a second. You know, all in all, most of us out driving these top fuel cars are doing it for free, man. It's great that Budweiser puts it up. It's huge for us, you know, and Powerade giving us a championship. But in reality, we're here because we love doing it, man. It's what makes great teams do what they do. And for the United States Army, that's for the soldiers, man. That's for the guys out doing what they do. Beautiful Las Vegas. Here I am in the desert watching fighter planes take off with all these Army soldiers at the racetrack, and they're overseas doing what they do. So we love them, and that one's definitely for them.
I'm looking to see if he got any checks or anything sticking out of his armpit or anything here.
Tell him horse hockey if he hasn't thought about the extra money, because I don't buy that at all. I know I'd be thinking about it. You can't help but think about it. There's never been a payday like it. All right, let's get ready for Scott Coletta and David Grubnick. You're on board with Grubnick right now. We are guaranteed a Coletta car in the final for the first time in 5 races. Dave Reeve.
Been talking to the crew chiefs about this teammate matchup right now. And as far as Jim Oberhofer goes and Scott Coletta, they were down on power yesterday in the Budweiser Showdown. Same story here, been fighting the power bug all day. Jim Oberhofer admits he's absolutely lost where it comes to finding that power. On the other side, did talk to John Oberhofer. Remember, it's a brother showdown as well. And he said he took a smidge off of the lockup, Mike Dunn. What does that mean?
Well, a little bit off the lockup weight on the clutch. That makes the clutch slip just a little bit more down track. That's what they're talking about with the lockup weight, because he's kind of concerned about the middle of the racetrack.
And we've got smoke again. And first to recover is David Grubnick. He's going to his first final since Englishtown when he lost there to Larry Dixon. So it will be David Grubnick with the task of trying to deny Tony Schumacher the double-up bonus.
Wow, that was kind of wild from the top. I mean, it looked like David Grubnick was out of it, but then watch Scott Coletta on the right side of your screen. I mean, that thing goes into smoke. He tried to pedal it one time, and then he just legged it. Never lifted, just said, hey, let's let the rev limiter kick in maybe and see how that works. Well, it didn't work good enough, because David Grubnick, left side of your screen, even though he spun the tires pretty much at the head of the throttle, he got to recover about 200 feet out, and that allowed him to drive by a smoking Scott Coletta.
And David goes to his 3rd final this year, the 10th of his career, and John Oberhofer and the team celebrate back at the starting line. So there's the final matchup, and the lane choice will go to Tony Schumacher in a 491 and a 573. Can you say heat on the track? All right, we've got to take a commercial break. Go on board with David Grubnick, and you'll see all of a sudden there goes Scott, and here goes Scott. All right, stay with us. We've got to take a commercial break. When we come back, it'll be Del Worsham. Can he stop Gary Scelzi? Scelzi has retaken the points lead.
Tonight on
Back here at Las Vegas, getting ready for funny car action. Del Worsham and Gary Scelzi coming to the line. Take a look at what happened in round number 1. John Force goes down to defeat for the 10th time this year in the opening round at the hands of Del Worsham. In second round, Ron Capps picks up the pace, moves ever closer to the points lead, and Gary Scelzi takes advantage and grabs the points lead. And that's where we are right now. Scelzi has lane choice over Worsham. Capps has lane choice over Tony Bartone.
Well, in the first round, Del Worsham was John Force's least favorite driver, but right now, he is John Force's favorite driver out there because he wants him to take out Gary Scelzi. And I'll tell you, Del Worsham, and Gary Scelzi, and everybody knows this, you can never count out Del Worsham. He is just tough on race day.
There are teams that know how to race. Worsham's team is one of them. Del's up in smoke. And Gary Scelzi lengthens his points lead. 4.85 seconds. John Force, a grimace as he knows he's lost another 20.
Nice job by Gary Scelzi, Mike Neff, and the rest of that Oakley team. They just cut this car down the racetrack. We saw both pairs of Top Fuel dragsters have problems, but Mike Neff put the perfect tune-up on this thing for the conditions, I think. 485 stuck right down the middle. He's going 256 miles per hour at the 8, so he's probably just kind of tiptoeing through the middle of that race course with the clutch and the power, and it worked just fine to get him into the final round.
Scelzi's going to his first final since he won at Sonoma. Let's go to Gary.
Well, we see Gary Scelzi pop out, David Grubnick standing here. What's it going to take to derail that Schumacher Express? Because he's been on such a roll and he's had a mega weekend already.
Well, yeah, but I think he smoked the tyres also just before us. So, you know, it's wide open at the moment. We've struggled a little bit there, but we're definitely coming back. Last year at the Bud Shootout, I won here with Xantrax 3. And this year we've got Strivectin on the car, and I definitely want to win this race, believe me.
I know you do. Gary Scelzi, let's swing over here. Come on over here, Tim. Gary, let's just get a quick word on that run for you. And now you're going to the finals, and of course, as we know, you are back in that championship points lead. Your assessment?
Well, we are. Well, all we got to do now is hope that Brute car's in there with us, and it'd make it a hell of a Schumacher weekend, because I guess Tony's in the final, right? I don't know. I'm not paying attention. I'm just trying to do what I got to do. Mike Neff, we backed up in the burnout. He took the lid off there, and I don't know what he did. I think he slowed something down a little bit more. He got a little cautious after we saw Grubby blow the hoops off at the hit, but hell of a day today in Vegas. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen, but we're having a good time again.
Right now, he leads John Force in the points by 28. Ron Capps by 42, but Ron is on the line right now, so he can pick up another 20 there. He's got to get past Tony Bartone. Force still watching here because obviously he has a vested interest in what happens to Ron Capps.
So Tony Bartone's in the semifinals, hasn't had a good car. They haven't been smoking the tires, but it's been breaking down track, and his competition has been smoking the tire. Ron Capps, Ed McCullough have had the best car today, made two great passes, low ET of each round, previous first and second round. That's basically what they're going to try to do here again, and I'll tell you, they look awfully good, but this is another round. We'll see what happens.
Goes to Ron Capps, 4.82. You saw Bartone getting all kinds of sideways. 482, 323 miles an hour.
They did it again. Low ET of the round. I mean, Top Fuelers up there smoking the tires. Andy Ace McCullough, Ron Capps. I mean, they are rising to championship form. This car is a bad hombre today. Just going down the racetrack, making all kinds of great passes. Watch Tony Bartone. He puts a cylinder out. Looked like early, kind of picked it up and then drove him right towards the center line. May even touched it. I'm not sure, but didn't matter because Ron Capps got there first.
And it means Capps is now second in the points. He has 22 markers behind Scelzi. John Force is now third, 28 behind. And Capps has the lane choice, and we will talk to him when we come back. Here to Las Vegas, Pro Stock is coming to the line next. Erica Enders will be coming to the line. There she is, looking to take out Kurt Johnson. They've never met in competition until today. Back here at the AC Delco Las Vegas Nationals, you're looking down from the Sanyo Lightship, proud to bring us our aerial views of all the racing action and beautiful Las Vegas. The Lightship is one of the largest blimps in the world. The Sanyo Lightship's 165 feet long, 46 feet wide, 55 feet high. Feels like about the size of my waistline after we have lunch here at the TV compound. All right, let's check in far end, put a period on funny car. Gary?
Ron Capps, you get lane choice for the finals. How important is that?
It's been crucial, Gary, and as a driver, you know, you got to be disciplined to go up there and not take a big chunk. It's like going in qualifying and as shallow as you can, and you know that if it comes down to the wire, a guy like Tony Bartone is going to nip me out the finish line, and it may not look good on paper, and the people at home may say, oh, it was a hole shot. So you want to take a chunk. That's what you want to do on race day, just so you look a little better. But the main thing is discipline, having trust in my Brute guys. Ace and I, you know, we get a lot of credit, but the guys in the trenches, man, the Brute guys are the one that make it happen. And I went as shallow as I could, and it paid off. And this is going to be fun.
Number 2 in points now.
Really?
He did not realize it, but yes, he is number 2. All right, Erica Enders has been under the weather all day today, but she has been cutting some very good lights. Kurt Johnson's over in the right lane. Dave Reef.
Kurt Johnson's car already slowed down by 0.07 of a second. This crew has made a major 4-link adjustment to try to get around Erica Enders in the right lane, which is a little trickier for pro stock cars.
4-link is to try to get the thing to hook up better than it did the previous round because he had a lot of wheel speed early in the run. He knows he has the power, but he's got to get it hooked up if he wants to get around Erica.
.007 for Kurt. And it is Kurt taking the win in a hole shot. 6.852 to the quicker, but losing 6.850. Second reaction time loss this year for Erica. Not that she cut a bad light. 046 is not by any means a disaster, but when you get a 007, there's what it looks like.
Kurt Johnson was ready, and you know, another thing is that 4-link adjustment could have helped. If the car hits harder when he lets that pedal out, that will help the reaction time.
KJ going to his 7th final this year, the 61st of his career. And now we get ready for Greg Anderson, and that man right there, Greg Stanfield. So when we get these guys backing up, we'll give us a moment to tell you about what's coming up on ESPN, the 19th annual Monster Shark Tournament from Oak Bluffs, Massachusetts. It's Wednesday night, starts at 8 Eastern. Again, that's on ESPN. So we get ready now for Greg Stanfield, and he's been to 1 final in his pro stock car career. That was at Brainerd, where he lost to Kurt Johnson. Greg Anderson, obviously, he's been to a lot more than 1 final. Greg's going to his 3rd final in a row here if he gets past Stanfield. He's like owned this place.
And the previous pair were your number 2 and 3 qualifiers. Greg Anderson, your number 1 qualifier, but Greg Stanfield, number 12. And this is what I like about this guy. He gets more than with less than anybody out there. He's got a low budget car. He seems like even when he's struggling on the weekends, somehow he figures out with his driving or whatever, or making just, you know, good runs when he needs them to get him to the position he's in right now in the semis.
Watch the reaction time. Stanfield will have to get an advantage off the line. He does. Will it be enough? I'm afraid not for Greg, as Anderson goes 6.84 at 201 miles an hour. Greg Stanfield goes a 6.89. It's 57 finals now for Greg. He's 4th on the all-time list behind Bob Glidden, Warren Johnson, and Kurt Johnson.
Now, like I said, Greg Stanfield got the advantage off the starting line only by a couple hundredths of a second. You're going to need more than that against Greg Anderson because he's on his game all the time. He's a little bit off in 60 feet. Normally he's a little bit quicker, but he was still 100th better than Greg Stanfield, and just carried that all the way into the final.
All right, take a look. Here it is. Surprise, surprise. Greg Anderson and Kurt Johnson, number 1 and number 2 in the points. Greg has lane choice. Let's go to Gary.
Kurt Johnson, you now know you go against this man who's been making a lot of hay lately. What's it going to take to knock him off?
I don't know. He's made my life bad for about the last 3 years, and been to the fun around here before in 7,000s one time with this AC Delco race and Chevrolet. This would be the race to win for our sponsors. Tough game out there.
You still loosey-goosey, pal?
Heck yeah, man, this is having fun. He's right. We have had a lot of final rounds out here. We're probably about even in how the outcome comes, but I know he wants it for AC Delco, but I want it for Summit. I want it for Pontiac. He wants it for Chevrolet, but you know what? It's all good. I am having fun. Thank you, everybody out here. I love this place.
Well, they raced in the final here in 2003. Greg won that one. Let's turn our attention to Pro Stock Motorcycle. Craig Treble in the left lane. Angel Sampey in the right lane. These are 2 Suzukis. Next year in the points or in the championship, they are going to get an advantage, or at least some help. Let's put it that way. We won't know if it's an advantage yet. They're going to get more cubic inches. They're going to get fuel injection, but everybody's going to be the same weight, 615 pounds. By Angel, my, oh my, inside. Did you see her drive around Craig? Because Treble was a good 5/100ths advantage off of the starting line, and then Angel just motors past right before the finish line, 7:29 to a 7:36.
I thought it was all over because Craig Treble made a great run in the previous round, but something must have happened right here. I don't know if the thing, a lot of times they don't go into fifth gear and they got to hit the button a couple times and they lose it because that thing fell off big time from the previous round.
Something good about this track for Angel. This is the 4th final in a row here at this event. She might want to run every race here. All right, back at the starting line, we get ready for Chip Ellis and Tom Bradford. Tom would become the 4th first-time Pro Stock Motorcycle finalist this year. The others have been Kurt Mott, Chris Rivas, and Ryan Schnitz. If he can win this round. Let's get more from Dave Reef.
Something good about this racetrack, too, for Chip Ellis, not just because he's the defending event champion. Anytime he's come here in the AMA, AHDRA, or even the Pro Star events, he has always found a way to make it to the finals. In fact, one of his worst performances was a runner-up.
Advantage Ellis. Light to Chip Ellis. The man who won here last year in Pro Stock Motorcycle is going to get a chance to do it 2 years in a row. George Bryce and the crew celebrate, and Chip runs it on out at the far end. Let's check in with Carrie.
Angel, did you think you were in deep trouble when you left the line there?
I had one of those clutch hang-ups in my hand, and the bike, I just didn't go when the light turned green, and I don't know how. Well, I know how I beat Craig because I have a wonderful team, my U.S. Army team back at the trailer. Steve Tartaglia in particular. I mean, we are just kicking butt. The U.S. Army is an awesome sponsor. I'm so glad for my troops. Thank you all very much for you. I'm so tongue-tied for what you do for us so I can be out here doing this for you. I'm going to get him because he got me last year.
We're looking forward to that battle. Chip Ellis has just pulled up, and that's what we'll see in the finals right there.
That's exactly right. It is a rematch from last year. Angel remembers it. I'm sure Chip remembers it as well. Stay with us. We're coming back.
My clutch got hung up.
You can enjoy the ride along with Ed Jones, a wheel stander here. And you can always tell when you're at a Bruton Smith track, there's always plenty of action and plenty of show. Hey, it's time for the Castrol startup of the day. That's where we salute those with the best reaction times. And we'll show you in Pro Stock. It was Bob Pinella with the 62nd ever perfect light. He did it in round number 1. In motorcycles, Tom Bradford, 004 in round 2. Cruz Pedregon in funny car, round 1 of 009. And Melanie Truxell in Top Fuel round 1 action. And 046. Time now to hand out some hardware. Let's talk a little Pro Stock. Will it be Greg Anderson again at Las Vegas, or will it be Kurt Johnson taking home the Wally? What about in Pro Stock Motorcycle? Angel Sampey loves this track at Las Vegas, but it was Chip Ellis that beat her in the final last year. Oh, can't you feel the love? As we come back trackside, there's Angel's road to the final. You can see who she took out. Both these riders love this racetrack. We've already talked about the rematch of last year's final. Of course, Angel's won here twice at Las Vegas. And if she wins, she ties Larry Dixon for 9th on the all-time win list. Dave Reef, you've got more?
Right lane, pretty tricky. Big bump out there. Didn't bother Steve Tartaglia, who told me he chose the right lane because Angel could see the ambers better. It's shaded on that side. Feels that's going to give her a better reaction time.
What do you think?
I think it's a good choice because you definitely need that advantage to be able to see that amber better. Because Pro Stock Motorcycle, a lot of times it's won or lost on the starting line.
So it's over their left shoulder. Red light, Angel.
Saw it too good.
Her 9th foul in a final. And a 7:24 elapsed time for Chip Ellis as he takes a back-to-back win. He won here last year. He wins again this year here in Las Vegas.
Tough break for Angel. She only missed it by 0.05 of a second. Just pushed it a little bit too hard, I think. It's a situation you're in the final round. You want it bad. And Chip Ellis, I'll tell you, they just put a nice tune-up on that thing, and he gets the win.
Picks up his 3rd win. Take another look. That's how close it was. 005 red.
Tough break for her, but give credit to George Bryce. Chip Ellis had a good bike all week.
Let's go to Dave.
George Bryce looking for a camera, looking for somebody to talk to. You found me. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. What a repeat. I mean, that's like a deja vu all over again. Chip and Angel, two of my favorite racers. What a final. The guys at S&S, thank you so much for all you do, guys. Back home, G2, ESPN tonight. It's going to be a rocket show. Thanks, guys.
Crew chiefs even get out of breath. My goodness.
There is a lot of jubilation at that end of the racetrack as your owners celebrate. I understand this is your daughter Mackenzie's 4th birthday today. Happy birthday, I bet, huh?
Yeah, happy birthday, Mackenzie. This one for you. I'll tell you, man, this track has been really great to me. My bike won 2 rounds today. I had a couple bad lights, but this G-Squared S&S Mac Tool Powers thing is just, man, it's getting her done. We're just having fun. Happy to be here today. And we're going to try it again in a couple weeks in Pomona.
Go have a party in Vegas.
We're going to have a party tonight. You know that's right.
And with the win, Chip Ellis moves into 4th place ahead of Antron Brown. There you see it. Angel could have gotten a lot closer to 2nd in the championship chase, but not to be, as there is the top 10. The championship will be decided in 2 weeks in Pomona. And we come back trackside as we get ready for Kurt Johnson up against Greg Anderson. When it comes to finals, Greg has owned Kurt. He is 11-1 in final competition. KJ's only win was earlier this year at St. Louis, and that's when Greg went red.
This is the way it should be. Your number 1 and 2 qualifier, the 2 best cars all weekend, running head-to-head in the final. Similar amounts of horsepower. It's going to be a situation who gets the best setup and who gets that reaction time advantage off the starting line.
Bit of a staging duel. Here we go. Kurt's in. A 002 for Kurt. Will it be enough? The answer is yes, in a hole shot. 683 to the quicker, but losing 682. And KJ, with his 32nd professional win, ties Gary Scelzi in the all-time list. The 5th time that Greg Anderson has lost on a reaction time.
How about Kurt Johnson? Has he been on his game today or what? 002 in the final. The previous round he was 007. I mean, that's 7,000s and 2,000s from perfect. You can't get any better than that as a driver. Obviously, he needed it against Greg Anderson. There's the margin of victory.
Oh, what a great win for Kurt Johnson. Let's check in now with Dave Reef.
Down with Kevin Horst, who works on this team along with Joe Cottle. Kevin, we talked about a major 4-link change heading into the semifinals. Another major one here. How surprised are you that the results come out like this?
Well, we know from our notes ahead of time which direction to go. Hopefully you make the right decision.
Congratulations on the win. I got to know one thing, though. Since I worked with you yesterday, can I get my job back? Did I do okay?
You know, I didn't check the other side of the trailer yet.
We'll have to talk after this race. Down to the far end.
Kurt Johnson, so many times you've gone against that fella Anderson, and he's beat you up pretty badly. And today, what was the big difference? Well, I'm sure that 002 light had a lot to do with it.
Well, the AC Delco Cobalt's been really strong all weekend long. And I just woke up this morning and I said, you know, I'm just going to go do my job. Drive like I normally drive. Don't do anything crazy, you know. Been pushing that red light button a little bit, but never stepped over the edge. And, you know, that made the difference for AC Delco and Cobalt and Dwayne Miller and Stu Christopherson and everybody involved. Goodyear Tires, Craftsman, Red Line Oil. Everybody makes a difference, and everybody's a big part of this team. Thanks.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
First time a member of the Johnson family has won here at the Strip at Las Vegas. There's Greg Anderson. He's still smiling because, of course, he's clinched the championship. When we come back, the Funny Car and Top Fuel Final.
Today's Speed World presentation of the AC Delco NHRA Las Vegas National. Brought to you by Powerade. Sport is what you make it. And AC Delco. Real car guys know AC Delco.
And as you look at the Strip in Las Vegas, that's the brand new win over on the left side there. And here we are at the AC Delco Las Vegas Nationals. Who's going to win the hardware in Funny Car? Will it be Ron Capps or will it be his Don Schumacher Racing teammate, Gary Scelzi? We'll talk about the points implication in a moment. In Top Fuel, David Grubnick. Can he deny Tony Schumacher a $600,000 weekend? That's right. That's what's at stake right now. Engines have already fired. Here's Gary's road to the final. Let's talk about the points implications. If Gary wins, he takes a 42-point lead over Capps, a 48-point lead over John Force. If Ron wins, well, then it's a 2-point lead for Gary Scelzi over Capps and a 28-point lead over John Force. Who do you think John's rooting for?
I don't know.
I do.
I'll tell you what, this is a great matchup, though, right now. I mean, Ron Capps has a slightly better car. He's been a little bit better on his lights consistently, but not much. We're only talking hundredths of a second, and that could all be made up on the starting line. Both drivers will be ready for this. Let's watch and hang on.
Oh, what a drag race, and Capps does it. 4.78 seconds. Scelzi was first off the line. Scelzi runs 481, the margin of victory, 1/100th at the stripe. What a day for the Brute crew. Look at Ace McCullough. Unreal. This championship battle goes to the final race with the top 3 within 28 points.
What a great drag race. Gary Scelzi staged it deep, got the better reaction time, but how about that Ace McCullough? That car was on a rail all weekend, just running great numbers and gets the well-deserved win.
Let's go to Dave Reef.
Had the Ace McCullough, my goodness. What a celebration, what a weekend. Have you had one like this in a while?
Well, not really. Chicago was good, but I got to say this is even bigger than Chicago. You know, I mean, we ran well today. First early qualifying sessions, we weren't that great, but we finally got it together and putting both of the Schumacher cars in the final round, the Oakley team and our Brute team. I can't say enough for all.
You're going to Pomona with a chance.
We're still here. Don't count us out yet.
Ronnie Capps, as you await that Wally that's about to be put into your hands, and I'm going to ask you to look ahead. The finale is in 2 weeks at Pomona, and everything is on the line. What an amazing comeback your team has made today, but how do you see it playing out now as you look to the future?
Gary, this is you couldn't have scripted it any better. I mean, the Brute guys, thoughts are going up there. Maybe not. We were going to possibly, I don't know, Ace switched lanes at the last minute. I have these little thoughts in my head. Like, Scelzi's been here at Schumacher racing longer. Maybe he's got a little, you just don't know. Ace said, just hang on. It's going to be okay. And Scelzi came over because Lasowski were watching World of Outlaws last night, and Lasowski always gives us a bad time at deep stage. And Gary came over and said, I'm going in deep. I said, so am I. So there was mono. But Brute guys, what a race car to drive today. I cannot tell you. Anybody sitting home, you could have sat in this thing pretty much probably and got to the finish line, but it was such a joy, and I want to thank everybody. Thanks.
Good stuff, bud.
Take a look at the championship. There it is. Scelzi, Capps, Force, less than 28 points. Unreal. All right, that brings us to the final race of the day. Here's what is at stake as you look at the road to the final for both of these competitors. Tony Schumacher looking to win his 4th in a row, which would tie a record held by Scott Coletta and Corey McClenathan. There's only been one man who's ever doubled up on winning the Budweiser Shootout and the next day event in Top Fuel. That's Joe Amato back in 1990. And remember, $600,000 on the line. Hello, 600,000. 4:48 the elapsed time. Tony Schumacher wins the championship, wins the Budweiser Shootout, doubles up. This is unbelievable. Low elapsed time of the race. He seals it with the best run.
You think he wasn't thinking about that money in 0:38 reaction time? He was ready for it. And Alan Johnson, even though they smoked the tires in the 2 previous rounds, put a great tune-up on this race car. Softened it up just a little bit for the first 60 feet just off the starting line, but then he got after it, was going 277 miles per hour at the 8th, carries it on through to a 4:48 over 327 miles per hour.
Dave Reef.
AJ, try to put this one in perspective. You did it all this weekend.
Well, yeah, it was a good weekend. We obviously struggled a little bit in the heat of the day. We just got behind on the track, could catch up, but cooled down in the final. And we said, hey, we came here to win this race. Let's not do what we did last night and make it that close. We're just going to go for the throat.
600,000.
And with Tony Schumacher and Tony, the awards, the honors, the cash, it all just keeps coming. Have you ever been on a roll quite like this?
No, I'm not sure anyone ever has, but my beautiful daughter, Jackie, man, this one's for you. I haven't lost around since she was born. It's been over a month and a half. This U.S. Army team, man, they rule.
Outstanding. And look at that big check. Just one more in a continuing series.
Absolutely incredible. Your thoughts on this day? This has just been amazing.
Just a dominant performance. Even though they spun the tires in 2 rounds, they came back and ran that 4:48 in the final round just to make a statement.
And take a look at the points in Top Fuel, and you'll see that the battles for second, only 6 separate Larry Dixon and Doug Coletta. There's also a great battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. The championships in 2 classes will go to the wire. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Pomona for the final race of the 05 NHRA Powerade drag racing season. For Mike Dunn, Dave Reed, Gary Gerald, and our entire ESPN2 crew, I'm Marty Reed. Coming up next, 2005 World Series of Poker. We'll see you next time on Sunday, 11:30 a.m. on NHRA Today. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long for now, everybody. We'll see you next week and in 2 weeks in Pomona.